What is up, RotoGrinders? Dean here, Dean7904. If you want to get all technical, 2 hours non-stop MLB DFS conversation starts right now. Taking you all the way up the lock, all the way up the first pitch. Crunch time coming in about an hour and change. We have cheese and beer, two of some people's favorite things. Dave Potts coming in as well as BeerMakersFan. We have chief meteorologist Kevin Roth as well. Always need Roth, especially need Roth today because couple dicey games. As of right now, 10 games are scheduled. Giving a refresh here as far as the weather report. Let's see if he's giving us an update of late. All right, I'll go ahead and drop this in chat for the people. We are orange, straight orange in St. Louis, yellow orange in Tampa. So as of right now, we got a 10-gamer going down. We're going to keep an eye on that. Roth will give you an update about an hour and change. It's myself, $4 million winner Bobby Gomes. Bobby, happy Wednesday. How are things?
Happy Wednesday, Dino. Happy Wednesday. I think I forgot to enter some stuff, so
Are you entering now?
Trying to get some stuff in now. Yeah. I didn't think the one of the contests would close this early, but I guess it did. Yeah. So I don't know. Interesting baseball slate. Today's one of those days. I didn't do really much either yesterday or today, but I feel like beat up, you know. I think that happens to you when you get older, Dean.
Oh, sure. Yeah, absolutely. I get it.
It's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah. You're feeling you need an off day or a day off or something like that? Or
no, I've had 2 days off. I don't know. Kid came in the bed last night, sleep sideways. You know, Dean.
Sideways. Oh, you gotta you can't allow that to happen. I don't think.
I don't think they can control it. So
you got a king, or you got a king or a queen?
Just got a king. Pretty recently.
Right. So maybe you can make the sideways work.
Yeah.
Shout out to you for upgrading to the king. You can sprawl out.
Yep.
Tonight, of course, is the starts of championship season, right? We have hockey going down tonight. Florida Panthers taking on Edmonton. And then tomorrow we have OKC taking on the Pacers. Earlier today, you guys had Kyle Murray, TJ, and Head Chopper break down game one. If you want to check that out, it's on the channel. It's one reason to subscribe, turn on notifications. You know, if you're playing the Showdown Street stuff for basketball, feel free to dabble. I was a little offended. I'm sure I see Tim hanging out in chat. No Showdown, content outside of, with Lineup HQ, of course, but no actual show. I mean, the disrespect for hockey, the disrespect for my Florida Panthers, the current and future champions of the hockey world. But this show, we're talking about baseball. It's a 10-gamer. Again, as of right now, that's where we're at. 10 games. Do you want to say what's up in the chat? Hit that like button kindly. Do subscribe and turn on those notifications. Do all those things. Let's do we want to get a poll for the people like you did the combination platter, TJ? Like, who is it? OKC and the Panthers? Is it OKC and Edmonton? Does anybody actually think the Pacers are going to win? I mean, it's a good run, good for the Pacers, but I think it stops here. There's a poll option for the people out there, but yeah, hit that like button, hit the poll as well. Duncan saying Oilers in 6, maybe. I'm not. If I sound like I'm being cocky about the Panthers, that's not my intent. I think it's going to be a great series like it was last year as well. But all right, Bobby, your thoughts as far as tonight's 10-gamer? How was the old screenshot, the overview? How's it looking for you?
Yeah, my biggest thought is why doesn't my head fit in this camera? But anyways, yeah, pitching isn't great. Good hitting weather. I don't know. I like Sale and Pavetta up top for pitchers, and then the bats. I'm getting a lot of Yankees, Dean. I don't know about you, but I like the lefties in that lineup specifically.
Jazz is back. It's getting warmer for Jazz too, right? Jazz doesn't like to play in the cold. It's starting to heat up a little bit. Is that? I never heard that before, but that would make sense. He's from the Bahamas, so maybe
he doesn't like the cold, Dean. It was all over Twitter for like the first, I don't know, month of the season. Maybe he just took the last couple of weeks off because it was too cold,
Well, what you're saying, he was faking an injury just to not hurt his stats. that's what you're suggesting.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a thought, I suppose. I saw it look like he got legitimately hurt, but yeah, fair enough. He is back. He did bang out a homer last night too, so shout out to him. The Yankees are going to be one of the more popular stacks. Of course, salary is the thing. Aaron Judge is just so pricey. Rice's price has not gone down really. Luis Ortiz, one of the weaker pitchers, throwing baseballs today. They had one of the bigger team totals as well, over 5 at home. The biggest team total, though, like it was last night, I'm fairly certain it was last night as well, was Minnesota. Minnesota did not disappoint last night. Will Castro, I think, doubled down with that was sort of the big guy that banged out a couple homers. Royce Lewis broke out of his funk as well. He almost hit a grand slam. He was like 3 feet away from hitting a grand slam, hit it off the wall. Taking on Sean Newcomb in that awesome ballpark out there in Sacramento. It's expected to be in the 80s as well. So, yeah, Minnesota looks like one of the more popular stacks today. Do not have a lineup just yet, obviously, because that's out there on the West Coast. It's 5 hours away. And you kind of pointed out as far as pitchers, it's pretty clear. Like there's two guys. And if you want to go double barrel, you can go double barrel. But, and the tricky thing is Sale obviously has the worst matchup. We saw Strider. It was mostly Ketel Marte and Corbin Carroll did the damage, the 1-2. Sale is an awesome pitcher. Of course, he's been great of late. The Cy Young winner last season, the Triple Crown winner last season. Best ERA, most strikeouts, and what's the third thing as far as the Triple Crown? I'm forgetting what it is, but he got all 3. So shout out to him, Chris. The tough matchup, Arizona, of course, not somebody you necessarily want to pick on, and then there's Pivetta, whose skill set's not as good, but he'll get you some strikeouts. When he gets beat up, it's via the fly ball mostly, and he's in San Francisco, so he's protected, right? Can he give up a homer? Sure. The ball still goes out of the ballpark in San Fran on occasion. But does he give up 2? Very likely not. So, yeah, I like both those guys. Do you have a clear-cut favorite amongst the two? How much do we factor in skill set versus matchup? We're talking about Pivetta versus Sale. If you can only have one, who do you prefer?
Yeah, for me, I think it's going to be Sale. Actually, let me change that. I'm sorry. I would actually prefer Pivetta. Spend the 200 more, but it's very close. So Arizona last year was very good against lefties, not so much this year. Carroll's going to be at the top of the lineup, so I feel like that's something that Sale can take advantage of. But he still has to worry about Suarez, Moreno, Gurriel, Grichuk in that order. I don't know. So if I had to pick between the two of them, it's really splitting hairs. But I would go Pivetta. The one thing for Pivetta is these San Fran guys can get the ball in the air. Now, the one thing about that is in this ballpark, it really doesn't matter, right? It's good pitching weather in San Francisco as well. So it's going to be a slight lean to Pivetta for me. And you're muted.
Normally we'll get a tweet from TJ. Maybe I missed it when he gets some Spidey bombs, but apparently Castro was a Spidey bomb last night. So shout out to Spidey. I always say shout out to TJ. He's just the medium, he's just the vessel. Shout out to Spidey. And I believe the Spidey, is he participating today? Is he giving us Spidey bombs today? Let us know there in the chat.
Yes, absolutely participating. And you're absolutely right. I am nothing more than the middleman, the broker, the facilitator. So all congrats go to Spidey.
When it goes wrong, you're the middleman. It goes right.
Well, it's the old we won, they lost. I mean, it's perfect, right? It's perfect. But speaking of TJ, if somebody in chat has an idea, so TJ's like we would have done a show if Toronto made the finals. I don't know how many favorite hockey teams TJ has. I don't know if you can just claim all of Canada.
Oh, no, I don't like Toronto. I was just making a joke that no one likes the Florida Panthers. So when you said they're disrespect to the Florida Panthers, yeah, because no one cares about the Florida Panthers in the Stanley Cup.
Why does no one like the Florida Panthers?
If it was Maple Leafs and Oilers, all of a sudden you got a electric. But
I like the Panthers.
That's Austin Matthews' team, Dean, for a callback to last show. But no, I don't care for the Leafs. I was just taking a shot at Florida. But yeah, Dean and I, it's my favorite team against Dean's favorite team. And so we need a little bet for.
You have any ideas, Bobby, or chat? Chat, let us know if you have a good idea. We were thinking about doing a movie bet. That's
Movie
kind of the
bet's
default.
the backup if we don't have any other ideas that
default.
blow us away.
If anybody has anything like legitimately fun that like blows us away that we both agree to, a week free of RG Premium to somebody that gives us the idea that we use. You got to be creative. It's got to be good. But obviously, me and TJ both have to agree to it. Yada yada. But throw out some ideas there in chat. Bobby, you got anything? By all means, feel free to fire it off. But yeah.
I don't know. Maybe if TJ had went up to, if you guys, I didn't know you talked about TJ going up to see the game, or you going up to see a game. TJ's maybe you buying dinner or something. It could be like a little date, whoever wins.
Well, I don't know if you majored in geography, but I'm in like Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and he's in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Canada, which is essentially like the two furthest parts.
Right. Last week on the show, you guys were making plans to go and visit the.
Were we?
I think so.
I don't know. Maybe we'll have to meet somewhere in the middle or something
Dean's
like that.
He's going to win a GPP and then come visit me, and I'll meet him in Edmonton.
Just a fair warning: if I crash on the couch, I'm gonna overstay my welcome, TJ. You're gonna have to kick me out. I
heard that from Grant. You visited for like a week and stayed for a year.
Don't wear your shoes in the house, Dean.
That's why we're meeting in Edmonton. Where I mean, if you don't leave the hotel, that's on you, between you and them.
All right. Chef wants me to produce the show. You probably don't want that. I'm guessing you don't want me to produce the show. That probably won't work out very well. I've never been given access to the producer buttons. Loser grows a mustache if TJ can. Wow, that's shot. Does TJ have the capability to grow a mustache? So have you ever seen TJ with a mustache? I'm not sure if we have.
I wish I couldn't grow a mustache, to be perfectly honest. I'm just a hairy guy. It stinks.
How much does that take? You got going on in your face? Is that like a week or so?
It's like a week.
That's impressive. Loser shaves their head. I mean, I basically shaved my head like close enough. More or less.
Should never shave.
You can't have TJ.
Never shave your head.
What do you mean? Like it's not going to grow back?
Your hair. It's like Samson. It's your strength.
Okay. All right. So some ideas being thrown out there in the chat. What do you think of double barrel as far as playing Pavetta and Sale together and just getting, having to save money as far as your bats? That's kind of my default, especially in this kind of slate. See, there you go. I have the ability, not a good mustache to be clear, but I have the ability to actually grow one, as evidence on the screen. That's so gross. And I think Roth was asking if I dye my hair. No, it just grows that way. Like for some reason, it's white here, and this is kind of salt and pepper at this point, but a little more salt these days. So Pavetta Sale as a package deal is something I'm considering doing. My default again, I feel like I can make it up in bats easier than I can make it up in arms. Is my general rule. How do you feel about Pavetta and Sale together?
I think that's perfectly fine. I do think that there are like some pitchers that I think we can take chances on. I like the Yankees stack, so by default, I like some Clark Schmidt. Although Cleveland is kind of tricky, you gotta get around Jose Ramirez, Kwan, guys like that. I think Schmidt's interesting. I think he has an EP there too, so that's a qualifier for me. Sawyer Gibson Long at 6K.
Yeah, I don't know.
The guy with two last names. Yeah, you say, you don't know, but he's playing the White Sox. It's pretty much
I know that
ball club.
He has an arm.
He also has an EP. He has an arm. Yeah. I just want to see what the pitching weather there is. By
the way, just a heads up, we just lost Kansas City, St. Louis. That's done so. Down to 9.
All right. Wind's blowing in Chicago. So I can take a shot on Gibson Long. He's not my favorite, but it's 6K on the slate. He's playing the White Sox. Like, I'm fine with it. I think I like the Detroit stack tonight, so there's correlation there in some sense. I don't know if Cheese would agree with that, but
he had a cup of coffee. That Gibson Long, 20 innings pitched a few years ago. The K rate was really good, 31.7%. The swinging strikes, 15%. I'm not sure if that was starting or out of the bullpen, but that's noteworthy, I suppose. And I guess bearing the lead, like you said, he's throwing baseballs against the White Sox. Not really a prospect at this point. He's 27, But again, throwing baseballs.
He's out of your
Makes so
age
much
range, I guess, but he's fine for me in the context of the slate. Yeah. And then from there, like, I think you get to like Povich a little bit versus Seattle. Seattle struggled with lefties. I don't love Povich. Emerson Hancock would be someone I'd throw in the mix in larger field stuff, although the strikeout rate really isn't there. But
It's so
Baltimore,
bad.
as we know, is just extremely gutless. Shane Baz, like I can play both sides of that game. I can play Texas, and then I can play some Shane Baz. I think Kyle Harrison makes sense, and that's pretty much my pool outside. You can throw Zebby Matthews. The thing I would say about Zebby Matthews is it's the best hitting weather on the slate. Like I think
That's the problem.
I think people are going to default to Zebby Matthews just because I think for the like value pitchers, he probably is the best. But I worry about the weather. So with that being the case, he'll be in my pool. I don't know where currently to rank him.
It's not just the weather, but it's that he's a fly ball guy and he's in Sacramento. So yeah. I think this could be a situation like what he had last game against Seattle. Against Seattle last game, he had 7 strikeouts and 2 homers. You know, that's and maybe like a Kikuchi thing, right? Just 5, 6, 7 strikeouts. Hopefully he doesn't give up more than 1 homer. Hopefully that 1 home run he gives up is a solo job, and you're probably good. I know the season-long guys are very excited about Zebby Matthews, like good arm talent, good Ks as well. What is the leash on him? I'm trying to see what he's thrown so far. Yeah, they let him go 94 last time, 7 innings. So, yeah, that's pretty I feel like they might have got to him late there as well. I think he was cruising. Maybe I'm misremembering that. But so I guess the leash is not really too much of an issue. 71, 81, 94. That's his 3 starts. And, you know, Minnesota, Rocco Baldelli just kind of babies his pitchers. They also just maybe lost Lopez for a while. He got hurt last night, left with a trainer. So they gotta take care of Zebby for sure. But I do like him, and I like the ballpark as well. And obviously, a big dumper is hopefully he doesn't bang one out. He's dumped 23 balls over the fence so far this year. It's completely absurd. He's been outrageous this season, but otherwise, that ballpark should protect the homers in theory. I think Zebby is probably my favorite as far as that next tier. You got him ahead of Schmidt. You mentioned Schmidt as well. Where do you have those two compared to each other?
I have Schmidt ahead of Zebby.
Yeah, it's close. I'm not going to fight. I'm not going to fight about it. And the cheapest pitch,
Gibson Long coming off Tommy John, hip surgery, etc. That has him for 74 pitchers. What does RG have him for?
It's a good question. I like to sort of, when there's a discrepancy, I like to kind of meet in the middle on it. It's sort of hard to say. Let's see. You said the bat has up for how many?
74.
RG's got him for 81. So, yeah. But also cost per pitch, he's 6K. He's 6K on DK.
Yeah. It's the White Sox and the strikeout rate's been high. I don't know. The pitchers on the slate aren't great. Like it's really Pivetta, Sale. So I don't know. You're saying like I like the double barrel up top.
It's not a perfect spot for Sale, obviously, but I think he can overcome it. He's good enough to overcome.
And Arizona hasn't been as good against lefties this year. I'm pretty positive as they were last year. So,
Ketel it's a smaller sample. It looks like they haven't faced a ton of lefties. Ketel Marte's 46 at bats versus lefties. He was hurt for a bit too, so I guess that pushed down the sample. Naylor is 111 as far as ISO. Pretty good contact though for left on left, 14%. Moreno at 14%. Perdomo at 6%. Man, Gurriel at 10%. Collectively, 16.9% versus lefties. Now, of course, they're not facing Chris Sale every single time. Chris Sale is a dominant lefty, but that's just does that push down his ceiling to some degree? I think I might have Pivetta just a tick ahead of Sale, but it is so close. Just because again, this is a pretty contact heavy and some power there as well for Arizona. Carroll 22.9% left on left. It is 2 lefties. Yeah, Carroll and Naylor. But beyond that, like you said, there's really not a lot necessarily to love. You mentioned Povich. Baz, just like show me one time that like you're good. Like I know you're supposed to be good, but can you show me you're good?
I think
Well,
you
he
can
hasn't
play
done that
both
in a while.
sides of that game because people are going to be just with how Texas can strike out, and then also Texas has upside, I would say. So
Good ballpark. And Baz was really good to start the season, obviously. He had that great start against Boston, against Pittsburgh as well. He was good against San Diego, and then he just started, I guess 5 of his last 6 starts or so have been pretty unusable, but he's showed upside. Like, we'll give him that, I suppose. 11 strikeouts against Boston, 10 against Pittsburgh. It's Pittsburgh, but, still. I don't know what to do with him. And also potential rain nonsense as well when it comes to that game. We'll see what Roth has to say. Last we saw, it is yellow-orange. So yellow is the lead color, so not as dicey as orange-yellow would be. Let's take a peek at ownership stuff before we pivot and start talking about some stacks. Giving it a refresh here, ownership-wise. Don Yeezy saying Schmidt SB2. Eric's talking about Povich. Does that change things if Eric's on Povich? Do you like him just the same, just as much as you did 2 minutes ago?
When I first looked this morning, Povich was like my fade.
Yeah.
So if
He's
Povich
5'7", that's the lead, right? He's 5'7".
Yeah, he's 5'7", so it can work. Like we said, Seattle has struggled versus lefties. We have him at around the bat has him around 19% ownership. That is Gibson Long at 28%.
Yeah, we got him at 28%. So we do have 10 percentage points for Noah Cameron. That's going to go away, obviously.
Yeah.
And nobody was playing Michaelis, right? What was his ownership? His ownership projection was like 1%. So we got to get a refresh once we kick this Kansas City St. Louis game out of the pool. But some ownerships will go up just because there's 10 percentage points to go around. We do have Sale, the most popular right now, at 38%. Gibson Long at 28%. I don't know if I love that at chalk. Pavetta at 22, Povich 18, Zebby at 12. I love Zebby at 12 if that holds. Baz at 11.
Yeah, I just thought Zebby was going to come in high round.
Yeah,
I
can see
Zebby and Gibson Long. That's how I was kind of approaching it.
I think some of that Cameron ownership is going to go to Zebby. Whatever Cameron was going to get. I can see him getting up to like 20 or so. I think that's a little bit low. Obviously, we're an hour and a half out before first pitch. Even more than that, actually. I'm rounding down. This stuff changes the closer we get to lock. The stuff gets more refined, and going to give a refresh here soon. Going to get a new batch of ownership once we kick out KC and St. Louis down to 9 games. I did want to see Pavetta. Actually, well, we don't have San Fran's lineup, obviously, but that's a West Coast game. But projected lineup, 24.9%. That's skewed a little bit with Encarnacion at 50%, and that's only 2 at bats. Obviously, that's not going to sustain. He's projected to be in there. We don't know if he's going to play. Bailey at 31%, but otherwise, Young-O Lee is an awesome contact hitter. Not a great hitter, but just good contact guy. 11.5% as far as the Ks, and Flores, 15.5% for Flores. So making a lot of contact this year. So I don't know, man. Maybe just no pitcher has like an elite game. Is another way to think about this slate, possibly.
I think you just play Pavetta. Like, Pavetta's the one that I'm perfectly fine playing, and
yeah,
Sale obviously very good, but I think if you're picking between the two, I think I'd prefer Pavetta.
Anybody else in the chat being thrown out there? First Spidey Bomb, by the way, was unleashed by TJ. Every 50 likes, more Spidey Bombs. Start scrolling on the bottom of the screen. The first one is Ronald Acuna. Ronald Acuna at plus 420. Plus 420 for Acuna. By the way, winning the poll currently. There are some people that think the Pacers are going to win. So 6% say Panthers and Pacers, 18% Oilers, Pacers. And then Thunder, Panthers, Thunder, Oilers basically tied at 38% each. Shannon saying Abel at 6K, 9K. Yeah, he had a good first start and good for him. And he's somewhat of a prospect, not like a mega prospect. I think I was looking at the prospect stuff and he was like 7 or 8 in the organization, depending on where you're looking. I don't like that price. And Toronto, pretty contact heavy team. Let me see their lineup specific today. I can't see myself getting the Mick Abel at 9K. Can you?
No, I cannot. 4.5K prop plus 130. at 9K. He does have a pitcher's ump. The weather's hitting weather there. I will say both of these team totals went down since the Open, but yeah, I'm not playing any McAble.
Yeah. It just seems a little bit too pricey, and he kind of overachieved his first start, and good for him, but I don't want to chase that. I had some Cameron thoughts, which I will save, I guess, the next time he pitches, because, again, if you missed it,
I can guess what they were.
What's that?
If they came out with lefties, you were going to play Cameron, correct?
My thoughts were that I don't see the ceiling on Noah Cameron, actually. Like, that he's had like some really good starts, or he's essentially gave up 0 or 1 run, and he's had no ceiling games because he's not striking anybody out. He's got a 1 ERA. He's been pretty lucky, and I just don't like 16% as far as the strikeouts. I didn't see it, and you're getting overcharged for basically the best this guy can do. Is strike out 6, maybe. He had 1 good strikeout start against Minnesota, and I think he's overachieving, and I think he's kind of fraudulent out the gate. But 1.05 is the ERA, 4.75 is the Sierra. So he's somebody I want to bet against. I wasn't necessarily going to like have a St. Louis stack as my main stack, but I thought that like people are chasing on him with minimal upside. We'll see. I don't know if they're playing tomorrow or not, but we'll see if we can get in on that tomorrow. Anybody else have notes? Kumar Rocker. You mentioned Hancock. He's another guy, just no upside. Like he's got to eat 6 innings or something like that and basically have good BABIP.
But that team is gutless, Dean. That team is gutless.
Baltimore, it's bad. You're talking about the Orioles, right?
Orioles, yep.
Yeah, I mean they're also without Mountcastle. They're also without Mullins. They're also without Tyler O'Neill. So 3 of their big boys are out. They did call up Colton Cowser, who banged out a homer yesterday. He's supposed to be good. He was actually second in the voting last year for AL Rookie of the Year. Now the American rookies weren't very good. The NL had the better rookies, so I don't know who was third. Probably Kobe Mayo. Maybe it's just never going to happen, But in theory, there's something there. Obviously, Gunnar Rushman's been horrific this year, so I don't know. And the ballpark, obviously, it's a significant downgrade for the Orioles jumping in Seattle. But just like Hancock is just. You don't have just because Baltimore. It's not like you have to choose. You could just like not play Baltimore and not play Hancock, and that's something I'm probably likely to do. But I don't mind some of the Baltimore stuff. If I'm looking to go double barrel, there are some cheap Baltimore hitters here that I will at least entertain, I suppose. Anything else we want to note here as far as pitchers, or shall we give the old summary and talk about some stacks?
No, we can give the summary. For me, if I had to rank them, finalizing my ranks, it would be Pivetta, Sale. I'm going to go Gibson Long, Shane Baz, Clark Smith, Zebby, Cade Povich, and I'll throw Emerson Hancock in if you're playing large field GPPs.
Just got Baltimore, by the way. Holiday, Rushman, Henderson, O'Hearn, Urias, Cowser, Mayo, Kierstad, and Carlson, which I believe is what we have projected. Alan's asking about Jose Barrios. Yeah, I mean, I don't want.
Pitch well his last time out. I just can't do the Barrios thing. I don't know if the ceiling's there, but does the ceiling really matter on this slate? Philly.
I'm worried about the floor with him against his Philadelphia team, but he was good against the Athletics. So yeah, sure, good for him. He had a spike as far as his Ks. But, Schwarber, I know he was subdued yesterday, but we saw Turner break out with a couple bangers. And, Bryce is back with his hand. He's good to go. He banged one out also. I don't think I want to pick on Philly. Really strike out to, just not a lot of strikeouts there to be had. Real Muto is the only guy in the red as far as plate IQ, 19% collectively. And Barrios is just sort of perfectly average, essentially across the board. So, it's a no for me. It's a no for me as far as Barrios. And to be clear, I'm only playing, several lineups. I'm not playing 150. You unleashing 150?
I think I have 65 teams. I wanted to play more higher dollar stuff, but it looks like it closed. So.
It closed down on you? Sometimes blessing in disguise, sometimes not, right? You never really know. And sometimes, yeah, it's like That's good. I saved some money there because I was on the wrong players. Hopefully it works out for you. So what are you in the 18 for 65 teams?
Yeah.
Okay. That, by the way, is about to close out too. Just a heads up. It looks like 200 spots remaining if you haven't played or signed up on DK for the bat flip, 50K to first, 200K total prize pool. That is about to close out. Some spots still remaining in the ball 4 if you're in those streets as well. Okay, let's talk about today's tiers. Still waiting to see if TJ, let me know if you see anything in chat as far as anybody throwing out a fun little bet we can do for your Edmonton, my Florida Panthers. But as of right now, we're going to do like a movie bet, and we'll see how that goes. But yeah, let's talk about tiers. Bobby, I made the tiers today. Today's tiers list, and chat, feel free to participate as well. With the championships around the corner, right? NBA, NHL. I ranked trophies / prizes, things you get, things the champion gets when you win a title, when you win a tournament, when you win a tournament prize. It's not necessarily exclusively trophies. There's not even a conversation. The one is the one is the one. And if anybody disputes it, whatever. You're entitled to your opinion. But it's wrong. You're objectively wrong. What is
There's
the best?
only one, in my opinion, that's worth it. And it should be the top one. And I think
Okay, you tell me what it is. So I feel like you're on the right track.
Is one.
Yeah. Not even close.
I don't even think it's
not even close. It started out as a bowl. They kept growing it with different layers. They put everybody's name on it. That's a play for the team. It's incredible.
Your name is in eternity, pretty much.
Yeah. Well, eventually they got to replace the layers because it gets too big. They got to move the layers out.
You can't touch it, Dean. You can't touch it. If me and my kid ever get to take a picture with it, he can't touch it. He knows the rules.
Well, no, you can touch. I think you're not allowed to touch the like the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference.
If you're a kid, you can't because you don't want to curse it because then you'll never be able to hoist it.
Kids are not allowed. Is this a rule I've never heard before? Kids are not allowed to touch the Stanley Cup.
Rule in New England, can't touch it.
Yeah. Okay. I haven't heard that before, but is that what? Maybe that's why you haven't won. When was the last time Boston's won a Stanley Cup?
Well, they can. If you win it, you can touch it. What I'm saying is, my son likes hockey. You can't. I can't until you win it. You're not supposed to touch it.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing.
NHL, he lifts up the cup. I don't want to. I don't want any bad luck on his side.
Shout out to
every day.
Shout out to Jamino hanging out in chat. Jamino, by the way, I hit him up for some ideas, and he's given me some good ideas. I've used a couple as far as some tiers, as far as some lists. Jamino is always grinding away, getting the ownership going. He's got the hamster wheel, as Blender would say. Well, I guess Boston won it in 2011, so it was a shout out to them. I guess Marchand was in that team. He's in the Panthers now. All right, so has anybody said in chat? Yeah, apparently in Martinsville, I guess that's racing. You get a grandfather clock, that's different. Olympic gold medal. Yeah, gold medal is kind of cool. I was considering.
So. I don't actually think it's as cool as it's made out to be.
What do you do with the gold medal though? Like, what do you just?
I would rather a green jacket. A green jacket to me it's like Stanley Cup green jacket.
We have some. Okay, we're gonna have a disagreement here, Bobby. We're gonna disagree.
How is it not green jacket too?
Because for starters, you wear the green jacket 2 times in your life, literally 2 times in your life. You wear it when they put it on you when you win the Masters.
Yeah, but you're in the club, Dean.
You're in the club, yes, but
it's like when you win the Millie Maker. You're in the club,
Yes, 5-time first club. But you have this stupid green jacket, right? And then you're never gonna wear it again until the next time you're in the Masters. You got to pass it off to somebody else. And then it just sits in your closet forever. And it's like you can't throw it out because it's the green jacket. But when are you ever going to wear it? And what jerk wears the green jacket out?
But they wear them to the dinner, and
that's it. One time, and it's over.
And how many people get to
wear it every year at the Masters?
Yeah, he said twice. So
no, I think just when you pass it on to the next guy, I think you're wearing the green jacket. I think.
Yeah, that's one of the best.
Yeah, they have their ceremonies and their dinners and stuff every year that all the champions wear them.
And also, I have a golf bias. Golf is just so snotty and just not for me. But it's just not.
No, you're starting to realize you messed up on this tiers list.
Well, I mean, you could say messed up. It's my opinion, and you're welcome to disagree.
Green jacket is 4th.
Yeah. Only because the only thing worse than the green jacket is
why
the
is the
stupid milk.
heavyweight championship belt there? Like, who cares?
It's cool. It's pretty cool. Like you wear this heavyweight championship belt. It's like I am the baddest dude on the earth. That's what you put the belt. That's what you're telling everybody without saying anything. That's the baddest dude in the world. Automatically. The Heisman Trophy was number 2. It's got the Heisman pose is kind of fun. It's I like when the players pose and they make
Actually, this list isn't that bad.
The stiff arm is awesome. I really appreciate the stiff arm. I like that. I think the Heisman Trophy is pretty cool. Heavyweight championship belt's pretty cool. Green jacket, I just think it's worthless. Like, what do you got to iron it? You wear it once a year. And
I don't like this take. This take is bad. This is
okay. Well, you know what? Was milk a bad choice or was milk a good choice? Because when you win the Indy 500, they give you a thing of milk. Like, really? Milk? I just drove 500 miles and you think I want some milk? Worthless. Are you aware of this tradition? Who wants milk? Am I a child? I
kind of like the tradition of it, though. Don't you like tradition?
I like tradition, sort of, but I think it's kind of a silly one. What is the tie-in with milk and racing? What's the backstory? Somebody give me the backstory.
I have no idea. I'm not from the South.
Yeah, I mean, it's the Midwest, right?
Midwest.
Indianapolis?
Yeah.
Let's see, other things being thrown out there. Oh, the Pop-Tarts trophy tradition. It's a brand new tradition, yeah, but that is a new thing. I don't know if you see when the Pop-Tart gets like born, they just have a pop-up. I think it's only been around for a couple of years, but they've done really good as far as social media. Anyways, Shannon says Stanley Cup 3rd or 4th. That's enough. I think we all can agree. That's probably
the worst take I've seen in chat in a long time.
The Stanley Cup's amazing.
Chat every day. So,
and the other thing, Bobby,
obviously, but
when they win, when the team wins, each player gets to take a little spin, like a spin around the ice with the cup in their hand. Like that's magical. It's magical stuff. So yeah, I mean, it's Stanley Cup. That's it. If TJ has any thoughts, by all means, feel free to chime in. Otherwise, we'll throw some teams into some tiers. All right, we are going to be tearing it up. First game we're talking about, it's Cleveland taking on New York. 9 total, Clark Schmidt versus Luis Ortiz. Yankees do have a team total above 5.26 if you want to get all technical here. Gimino, by the way, did say he had some thoughts. Is he chiming in now? He said he would replace the green jacket with the plate they give at Wimbledon. Yeah, the plate is pretty stupid at Wimbledon, too. Who needs a plate?
How do we hate the green jacket? Like, I just don't get the take at all.
Because it has no purpose. I don't want to iron my trophy. What's the point? Why do I want a green jacket? Who wears green?
Green's a good color. Green.
What do you wear it with? Color. You got green pants?
No.
Black pants. I don't know. I don't want to clash or anything. I don't know what you wear it with, but I don't like it. It's not for me. Okay. Yankees, Guardians.
I didn't know you were a fashionista all of a sudden.
You can't tell from my various hoodies. Guardians and Yankees. What do you got?
Yeah, so the Yankees are going to go in the Stanley Cup for me. Probably my favorite stack in the slate. I don't think it's particularly close. First, Luis Ortiz. Love all of the lefties and Judge, but Grisham, Ben Rice, Bellinger, Chisholm's back in there. We talked about Austin Wells. Yeah, like the Yankees a good bit.
You got one big spend in the slate, Bobby. You got one big spend in the slate. Is it Aaron Judge? Is it Ohtani? Is it somebody else?
I think
obviously he stacks and whatever. I'm talking like one-offs or something.
I think it's currently Judge. I think Ohtani projects better. I just like the Yankee stack in general. Obviously, how can you not like the Dodgers stack? But I don't know. I'm in with the Yankees tonight, so I'm gonna roll Judge. Cleveland. For me, Cleveland probably falls down to, let's say, the heavyweights. Like Jose Ramirez, heavyweight championship belt. Yeah. Jose Ramirez is fine. Like Quan a little bit. What else stands out for me for Cleveland? I'm just looking at pictures. Sorry.
Did you throw the Yankees in one of the tiers? I don't see them on the board.
Bo Naylor. Who else? Manzardo. Yeah. Yankees are in Stanley Cup, TJ. Thanks for paying attention to any of the show.
No, they're on there. I wasn't making a joke. I just couldn't see them.
No, I get it. Yeah, you can't see it, but
yeah. All right, we got Cleveland in tier number 3, and the Yankees in the Stanley Cup. All right, some more. They got the chat fired up about all sorts of prizes. So I appreciate your participation. A lot of people are fans of the Green Jacket. So the other note about Wimbledon, you got to win like 4 Wimbledon so you have 4 plates. Otherwise, what do you do with 1 plate that looks like that? Okay, Kerry Carpenter, by the way, was scratched. So no Kerry Carpenter. Torres, Ibanez, Green, Torkelson, Perez, Dingler, Keith, Baez, and McKinstry. That is your updated Detroit lineup. So no Kerry Bonds. All right, Philadelphia, Toronto, 9 total. Kind of a coin toss here. Slight favorite here is Philadelphia. Mick Abel. This will be his, I believe, his second start in the majors against Jose Barrios. We didn't really necessarily love either one of these pitchers per se. 4.5 total on both sides. Where do you have Philadelphia and TJ's Blue Jays?
Philly in Toronto, right in heavyweight championship. Not really interested in either too much. It's good hitting weather. Could always play on the Philly side. Pretty much like Schwarber, Turner had the dongs last night that you wanted. I don't know. And then on Toronto, Vlad, Bo Bichette. I think a lot of these Toronto guys are actually pretty interesting.
I don't disagree.
Yeah, like I don't think I'm going to get to them too much, but like Barger, I like Springer, Lukes, and Clase down at the end of the order. They're fine. I don't know. Keep saying I don't know. I should know. On the Philly side, are you willing to go to Schwarber? I know he's been pretty rough.
Of course. Yeah. Why wouldn't I be? Absolutely.
I kind of like them just as minis, though. We'll say that.
Yeah, I mean, I think Kepler is still in play as the lefty, the cheap lefty, I suppose, here against Barrios. And as far as the Toronto side, Barger looks like, cash game playable at 3-1, hitting in the 3-hole. He's been really good of late. And I'm just not sure. I'm not ready to crown Abel to say, oh, this guy's good. I don't know. And he's not a mega prospect of any sort. So certainly Toronto's in play for your large field stuff. Why are they talking about gift cards in chat? Is that what they want me and TJ to buy each other gift cards? Is that what they're talking about? Not really sure. TJ can't seem to decide where to put the Blue Jays, Bobby. Did you officially say
heavyweight championship belt? Yeah.
Okay. Looks like he's debating back and forth. Okay. Arizona taking on the Braves, 7.5 total. Chris Sale, most skilled pitcher on the slate. Arizona, one of the best offenses in baseball. So good versus good. Going to be in the 70s today, so a little bit 77. A little bit cooler in Atlanta than it was yesterday. Merrill Kelly on the other side. Of course, Sale's a pretty big favorite, minus 175. Kelly versus Sale. Diamondbacks versus the Braves. What do you got?
Arizona, you can throw in Green Jacket. I do like some of those bats versus Sale as like leverage. Mainly Suarez, Moreno, Gurriel. I think those guys are fine. Ketel Marte. Atlanta, for me, so I'm not getting a ton of Atlanta, but I do like them and I want to get more. I'm going to put Atlanta in Heisman Trophy. Acuna at the top, I just think adds so much to this offense in this order. So Acuna, Olsen, Riley, Ozuna, Baldwin, these guys are all in play for me. Versus Merrill Kelly. Anyone else? Sean Murphy, I guess you can throw in there.
AK Boy in chat says, I'm at the Braves game. It's raining now. Does Roth have any? I mean, that's something that will happen in Atlanta. They have those pop-ups. Let's give it a refresh and see if anything's changed here.
How's the hitting weather there?
Let's see. It's yellow in Atlanta. Rain looks a bit slower to fade out than what models depicted earlier, so I've increased the chance of a late start. So possible late start. Still expect the game to play and think an in-game delay is unlikely. Winds in from 10 miles per hour. I'll give a refresh to Weather Edge as well. See if anything's changed. We did have a fire emoji earlier today with Boston and the Angels in that game. There are a lot of fireworks there. I think it was 7-8. We had a walk-off like 300-foot homer, one of those ridiculous, pesky pole homers for Boston. I think Rafaela banged one out. I shouldn't even say banged one out. Popped one out. down the right field line, that cheat code homer in Boston. As far as Atlanta, 42 games with similar weather, slight decrease in homers, 6.3% according to Weather Edge. The wind's blowing in, 77 the temp, 68 the dew. Let me go ahead and drop this in chat for the people if you missed it as far as today's weather report. I want to see Acuna steal a base. He hasn't stolen just yet. I don't know. He talked about, probably tempering that a little bit. I just want to know if he's willing to do it. And I've watched some. I've not seen him try to steal in the ball with a hit. Obviously coming off the it was an ACL, right? I'm pretty sure he had an ACL.
TJ.
We're
TJ, can we bump the Blue Jays to Heisman Trophy if possible?
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. Did something just change? Did we get a higher team total for Toronto, or you're just kind of rethinking it?
I'm just kind of rethinking it.
All right. Let's talk about Texas and Tampa. Another game that a little bit, I don't want to say full on dicey, but yellow-orange. So keep our eye on that one. Shane Baz, Kumar Rocker, good ballpark historically. Wind blowing out a little bit down left field in Steinbrenner Field. 78 is the temp. I don't think we have anything as far as Weather Edge, right? We don't have any Weather Edge data for St. Pete. The Rays versus the Rangers. What do you got? Where are we throwing these guys?
Yeah, so I like the Rays a good bit, especially the lefties versus Rocker, particularly Aranda and Josh Lowe. I think are very good plays tonight. Caminero's been hot. I know he's right-handed.
He's good.
Yeah, he's very good. Brandon Lowe, like him. Magnum Misner, I think, can get in there in the end. Danny Jansen, my favorite player in baseball, hitting 9th or projected. I like the Rays for tournaments. I would put them in heavyweight championship belt, but I'm going to throw them in Heisman Trophy versus Rocker, just because of how I like just the lefties in general. And then for Texas, I like Texas as a tournament set. I think they have some good I'll throw Texas in heavyweight championship belt.
Not sure you saw us, Bobby. I got some bad news for you. Danny Jansen not playing baseball today. At least not from the start. Yeah.
What a refresh.
Does that change things for you?
Is Rortvedt in there?
No, it's Thice.
Oh, Matt Thice.
Yeah,
another lefty. Bring on the lefty. How many lefties? 1, 2.
Well, this is what Tampa does. You know that. Yeah, but then the problem is
lefties.
the pinch hitters are lurking. It's just they're always a guy like Aranda, as good as he is versus righties. They don't like him versus lefties. He's pinch hit vulnerable. Not saying you can't play him, obviously. He can bang one out in the first inning, and who cares? Now you're playing with house money. All right. Still just one team in the top tier in Stanley Cup. 3 teams hanging out with the Heisman Trophy. That's Atlanta, Toronto, the Rays. Tier number 3, heavyweight championship. The belt, that's Cleveland, Philadelphia, Texas. One team with the green jacket, that's Arizona. Nobody hanging out with milk. Detroit and the White Sox. That's Sawyer, Gibson, Long, taking on Jared Schuster. 8 total. We did get Carpenter scratched for Detroit, left on left. I don't know if that's an injury or just they rethought the left on left stuff. I don't know. Didn't see what the reasoning why. Just he's not starting the game tonight. Where do we have Detroit and the White Sox?
Yeah, the White Sox are going to be in the bottom barrel as usual.
That's their home.
Really interested in anyone. Maybe Talkman can make work in your pool, I guess. But yeah, him or Vargas, I don't know. You can play them, but good luck to you. Detroit, yeah, Carpenter not being in that lineup, I think it takes a hit. But I still think you got guys like Torres, Torkelson, Dylan Dingler, Kirk Dees' favorite player, Kirky Dingler, as they call him around here.
Nobody calls him Kirky Dingler. That's not true. Just nobody calls him Kirk Dingler. He just made up nicknames. None of that ever happened.
Javi Baez and McKinstry, I don't mind. What to do with Detroit? I know Chop comes on here and he's just like, he has him ready to go. I'm going to put Detroit in heavyweight championship belt. Not taking a lot of stands here, although I did. If Carpenter was in this lineup, even though it was lefty on lefty, I probably would have bumped them up. I don't really mind. Kerry Bonds can do whatever he wants when he's in there. Just not making it kind of knocks him down.
By the way, did you see the Rockies today on fire? They've won 3 games in a row. They swept the Marlins And shout out to the Rockies Twitter account. I don't know if you saw this tweet. They say wins since June 2nd. They have 3 wins. Scotty Scheffler has 0. So the Rockies Twitter account having a good time there with that. How terrible.
Have you ever listened to one of their games? Like the announcers call one of their games?
Yes. I've listened to, well, I don't know if I have this year.
It's total comedy. It's unbelievable stuff. It really is.
I'm trying to remember who that. No, I know most of the boosts. I don't know. You can always. They tend to not get the volume. Like if I split the screen in 4, they tend to not get the volume. They're almost always on mute. Colorado. So, but yeah,
the announcer missed a pitch the other day. Just completely missed it.
So you're saying the booth is not as good. It's just as bad as like in the booth is the talent.
I wouldn't take it seriously either at this point. But what are you going to do?
The Marlins have to fire somebody, right? If you get swept by the Rockies at home, just by law, don't you have to fire somebody? I feel like maybe you should get like demoted at like the AAA or something. We need relegation in baseball. When you get swept by the Rockies, you got to reconsider all your decisions in life. Derek says fire Jeter. Well, Jeter got his money and left. He's already scrammed. He ruined this organization.
Jeter was still there.
Yeah, he was the last nail in the coffin of my fandom with the Marlins. What is that? He was firing Billy the Marlin. He fired the announcers. They had a good booth, actually, speaking of the booth. But yeah, not a fan of Jeter. Okay, let's move on. Let's talk about.
You're not a fan of Derek Jeter?
No. Why would I be?
I'm a Red Sox fan, and I'm a fan of Derek Jeter.
I respect he was a good baseball player, but like, has he said one thing interesting in 25 years?
No,
one thing?
Nothing.
He's probably interesting like alone, I guess. Maybe he'll actually open up. Maybe he's just guarded. But like he's never said anything interesting. Just that doesn't happen. So he's a big phony or he's just not an interesting person in any capacity. All right. So Baltimore and Seattle, 8.5 total. We have Cade Povich versus Emerson Hancock. Seattle is basically a coin toss here against Baltimore. You're saying Baltimore is gutless, but Emerson Hancock also just has an inability to strike people out. So what do you weigh more, gutless versus no strikeout ability? How are we seeing the Orioles and the Mariners?
I think Seattle is another team in tournaments that's very interesting tonight. So for me, Seattle, throw them in Heisman Trophy. Baltimore, you can throw in Green Jacket. What's so funny, Dean?
I was just reading the chat, and they were correcting my pronunciation on the pitcher for the Mariners. I thought I got it correct, but apparently I did not. So I'll have to double check that with there's a pronunciation guide I go to on the interwebs, and I don't think that was. I feel like I was correct, but I'm happy to be wrong. Padres taking on the Giants. Kyle Harrison, Nick Pivetta. Great ballpark for throwing baseballs. Not a great ballpark for hitting baseballs. San Diego is the slight favorite here. Pivetta, one of the more popular pitchers, taking the bump. I do want to get a refresh as far as I'm curious what our ownership has changed to. We'll do that in just a second as far as pitchers. But how do we feel as far as hitters? The Giants, the Padres, mostly going to be neglected here on this 9-gamer. What say you?
Yeah, Giants and Padres both going in Green Jacket. Like the pitchers in this game more, I would say. Nothing that you can always play Tatis, Machado. I think those guys stand out in San Diego. Jackson Merrill. Giant side, Willie Adames, really. Him and Chapman, Yastrzemski. But there's nothing that, like, in this ballpark I really want to get to with the wind. I think the wind's blowing in, correct? Like,
I think it's actually blowing out, but it doesn't really matter because the way they built the ballpark, wind is just negated essentially. For what it's worth, 17 miles per hour toward left center. And in 243 previous games, it's a pretty big sample. Homers did get a bump at 10%. So, and it is 59, so kind of chilly. But I guess the wind matters incrementally, I suppose. 17 miles per hour is not nothing as well. So maybe it matters a little bit, but also it's still tough. Just you're still not getting to the Coca-Cola glove out there. No, that's two different things. There's a Coke bottle and there's a glove, that massive glove, both of those out there in left center. Never been to this ballpark. Bobby, have you been to San Fran? It looks like one of the. It's one of the old bucket list.
I have
a good chunk
I
of
think
them.
my girlfriend has though. I think she grew up in San Fran for a few years. So yeah, I think she has.
Looks spectacular. I don't get the guys that hang out there in the canoes. Yeah, you're waiting. Like in the history of the ballpark, like 50 baseballs have been knocked out of the ballpark in the McCovey Cove.
And the one guy that hit the majority of them isn't playing.
He's gone. Yeah. I don't know if you've heard, but people are alleging he did some things to like hit a couple of those out.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter to me.
I don't care either.
Right in the Hall of Fame.
But what a weird.
He saw one pitch a game.
If you go through was like 2001 or 2002, he had some incredible years. The amount of times he was walked is completely bonkers, and like sometimes one pitch a series he would see. Bonds was outrageous. I wasn't besmirching. I was just being a smart ass making a joke.
That's all right. If you don't want these guys, I want them all in the Hall of Fame. Like the fact that Manny is not in the Hall of Fame is crazy to me. Bonds.
If you're a fringe guy, I can see maybe if you want to make that argument. Fringe? No. I was just saying as a general point. If you're a fringe guy, okay. Okay, sure, whatever. Like if you're Rafael Palmeiro, I don't know how fringy he is.
He is kind of fringy. No, that's fine.
That's the same thing I was gonna say. Is like maybe you use it as a tiebreaker, but when it's Barry Bonds, who is the best hitter of the baseball in the history of the world,
like the fact that he's not is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
You can put the asterisk there.
He'll get there eventually, and there's all sorts of reasons that we don't have time to get into. Like if you want to name players that are in the Hall of Fame, why maybe they don't deserve
question marks about like some of the guys that are in there for sure.
Yeah. All right. We have 2 more games left to go. Do hit that like button. Do subscribe. Do turn on those notifications. 10 minutes or so. We have BeerMakersFan. We have Dave Potts. Cheese is good coming back as well. Chief Mineralogist Kevin Roth. His job made a little bit easier. He did tell us. He did give us the warning that KC St. Louis was looking dicey. Scratched that one off. So now we're down to 9 games. We still have Texas and Tampa looks like potentially a problem. Yellow, orange, yellow in Atlanta, green, yellow for the White Sox, if you're interested in that one as well. 2 more games to go. Minnesota taking on the Athletics. Minnesota, they brought it last night. They're going to be massive chalk once again. Hold on a second. Did we get am I just thrown off by something? Is Jeffrey Springs now throwing baseballs for the Athletics? Did that happen just now? Did I miss that update? When was Jeffrey Springs announced as the starter of the Athletics?
I think he was starting all day.
I had somebody else in there. I thought I had Newcomb on my list. Okay.
Yeah, maybe it was Newcomb.
Yeah. But that's what I see on the lineups page. Help me out here.
Your starting pitcher is now Sterner. So probably another opening situation, and we'll see what happens from there.
What is a Sterner? Is Sterner like a 1-inning guy?
Sterner?
I think he's a really. Let's see. He last pitched a couple days ago. Gave up 4 runs, 3 earned, and a homer, and he got 0 outs. A third of an inning. So he hasn't pitched more than an inning in his last 4 starts. So he'll be the opener. Okay, this just happened, right? I didn't miss anything. So Sterner is opening. And it looks like we're guessing Springs might be coming in at some point. I'm going to throw it to you, but I do want to see. I want to see.
It's worth noting that yesterday, Jacob Lopez was the projected starting pitcher all day, and then they called up Osvaldo Bido, and they were like, we're going to use an opener, and everybody assumed Bido was going to be the long relief guy just because he had just gotten called up, and then it was still Jacob Lopez. So don't play any pitchers, obviously, on the athletic side of things, but we can't Newcomb or Springs coming in, and I guess either way, it's a lefty, so we don't change much.
Springs has not thrown baseballs was he in the minors or something? I don't see that he's thrown pitches. No, hold on. He must have did it not too long ago. Okay. Newcomb threw 26 pitches on the 2nd. So even if he pitches, he's not going to be a long guy. You mentioned Bido threw 24 pitches yesterday. Probably not going to go today. But Mason Miller's he's good to go. He hasn't pitched since the 31st of last month if that situation comes down to it. But if it's coming down to a save situation, probably not good for Minnesota anyway. Twins, Athletics, what do you got?
I think both these teams are going up in Stanley Cup for me. Really like the Athletics bats, really like the Twins, great hitting weather, just all over. Guys that stand out for me in the Athletics, Butler, Soderstrom. It's been pretty hot of late. You could always play Rooker, Langley Ayers, Jacob Wilson, I don't mind. And then for Minnesota, Buxton, Correa, Jeffers, I think they make sense. TJ's favorite player, Brooks Lee, Willie Castro's down there banging out. He had the 2 home runs last night, so they're fine. Royce Lewis, I like the Twins too.
On the 30th, Springs threw 2 innings, and I assume he started. Yeah, he just got shellacked. That's why I pulled him early. So Springs is probably makes sense as the long guy today. Has not pitched in 4 days or so. Was the 30th, so 5 days. This will be the appropriate 31, 1, 2, 3. You have 4 days rest. So it would make sense that Springs is the long guy. That's what they're projecting, but who knows? Stoner in chat says it's going to be Eric Gagne as the possible long man. I don't think that's going to happen. We haven't seen Eric Gagne for a long. Once upon a time, though, he was amazing. Eric Gagne back in the day. And then Eric Johnson, TJ rightfully calling him out. He's saying that Stoner is the best bullpen arm that the A's have. And did Miller get traded? Did I miss? Was there a trade in the last few minutes? I don't know. But that seems like a peculiar take. All right. Let's knock out one more game, Bobby. I want you to have some homer calls in the holster as well. I'm going to call on those shortly after we do the roundup, the recap. Mets, Dodgers. Did we get either one of these lineups just yet? I don't think we did. We did get Dodgers. Okay. Mets and Dodgers, a 10 total. Biggest collective total on the board. That's Gonsolin versus Canning. Ohtani leading off. Betts, Freeman, Teoscar, Max Muncy, Pages, Conforto, Rushing. So Rushing doing the catching. No Will Smith. Enrique Kike Hernandez in the 9-hole. Have you seen the splits with Max Muncy, glasses on, glasses off? All of his homers this year have been with the glasses. It was just like a Major League Wild thing situation. They just realized maybe this guy needs some glasses. He can see the ball, and now he's mashing it. So Muncy can see, and he's seeing the ball go over the fence these days. Where do you have the Dodgers and the Metropolitans?
Dodgers pretty easy for me. Stanley Cup. Yeah, Max Muncy's a great play. Ohtani, all the Dodgers. Rushing down at the bottom of the order, I like Teoscar. All very strong plays. Pages made it, right?
Yeah.
And then the Mets. I'll put the Mets in Heisman Trophy. At the top of the order, I really like, but the first 5, but then it falls off pretty quickly for me. So Mets in Heisman Trophy. No
official lineup just yet. We're projecting Lindor, Nemo, Soto, Alonso, Young, Beatty, Taylor, McNeil, and Alvarez. We did see, do they still have the 2K if he cracks the lineup? We're not projecting it. Is he still Mauricio, the prospect, is still 2K if he does happen to hit the lineup. He wasn't good last night, but whatever. Obviously, it's just one game. Let's give the recap to the people if you're just joining us. Crunch time coming in 5 or 10 minutes or so. BeerMakersFan, Dave Potts, CheeseIsGood. We might have time for questions in chat too as we segue to Crunch time coming in. Roth as well will be joining shortly. I guess we didn't officially get a great suggestion, TJ. I don't know if you've been compiling them, if you've seen them in chat, as far as what we should bet. I guess we'll have the default. My Panthers versus your Oilers, a movie bet. The winner forces the other person to watch a movie of their choice, being kind, depending on. We'll see. TJ, do we have any good suggestions?
Too.
Oh boy.
It's good, Dean.
It's good. Like that's
the second one of the United States
to make him watch.
But you're saying the second one is good?
Yeah, they're both good. They're both good, Dean.
Now, can you say it without a spoiler? Is it not the Declaration of Independence? Is it something else?
The President of the United States. He's got to kidnap the President of the United States.
Oh my God! Wow! That sounds intense.
Big
Okay.
T said bad grandpa for you, Dean.
No, hold on. It's dirty grandpa. Big T forgot. We've had this argument before.
Mixed
When
bad
Robert
Santa
De
and
Niro,
dirty grandpa.
he combined the two. That's exactly what happened. De Niro just gave up.
Dirty
Just said,
grandpa.
I guess I'll take a paycheck.
De Niro has like this crazy mafia movie. Have you watched it? It just came out.
I have not. No,
He,
but I know he's done a lot of bad
guys
movies.
in it. Yeah, I was looking at it and I was like, "There's no way I'm watching this."
Well, now I'm curious what it is. As we'll recap the board. His most recent movie is something called, is it Tin Soldier? He was in the Netflix show 0 Day, The Alto Nights.
That's Alto Nights. That's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know what that is, but
keep scrolling by it.
It's been a bad.
Yeah.
Killers of the Flower Moon was good. Some people didn't like that, but I liked it.
Yeah, I like that one. Yeah.
And The Irishman I thought was pretty good too. And Joker, he was great. And not that he started it, but there's a lot of bad. There's a lot of bad.
I didn't like The Irishman.
No? Too long for you?
Yeah, it's too long.
All right, fair enough. I was going to recap the board, but it has disappeared on me. Maybe we still have it. I'm not sure. But all right. Who does Big T like in the series? I saw some people touting the
Pacers. I didn't tweet something about OKC. So
yeah, I think Indiana might get one. Like, this is a different. People don't realize this is a generational team. The Thunder, they are awesome. They're going to win in 5. Give the Pacers one. Going from New York to Indiana, that's like AAA to the majors against the Yankees or something like that. This is an elite team, and good story. Happy for the Pacers. Good fan base, but it's over. It's over. The Thunder are going to take this down pretty clearly. Okay, who's banging one out tonight, Bobby? Who's going yard? Give me a 3, 4, depending on at various price tierings. Feel free to surprise me. Feel free to be as ambitious as you want to be. Who's going yard tonight?
We'll go Trent Grisham. We'll go Cal Raleigh. Hey, I could say Ohtani or Judge, but I'm going to go Acuna.
Well, I'm being told in chat, apparently you can't play with Judge because I guess he's 0 for 15 in his last 3 games.
Oh.
Is that enough to chase you away?
No, I just don't want to pick him because it's too obvious. Him and Ohtani, I'm not going to.
Well, why is it obvious? He hasn't got a hit in his last 15 at-bats.
I'll just say, how isn't Cal Raleigh obvious?
That is true. How isn't Cal Raleigh obvious? Yeah.
So yesterday, Chop brought this.
I also bet on Cal Raleigh and Ronald Acuna to hit home runs today, so we're on the same page on that one, though.
All right, there we go. Yeah, Spidey Bomb number 1. There we go. Ronald Acuna.
Chop pointed this out yesterday. The expert survey. There's a question like, who's like the player off the board or who's the under the radar homer? And yesterday, Stevie picked Cal Raleigh in his 23 home runs. So I'm going to be on tomorrow with Stevie. I think 1 o'clock. It's a weird time, funky time. Maybe it's 2 o'clock, somewhere in the afternoon. I got to call him out in that. I mean, come on. I don't remember what the matchup was, but Cal Raleigh hitting a home run is never under the radar. Is that fair to say, Bobby? Or maybe I'm wrong to call it Stevie.
No, I guess you're right to call him out. It's pretty. I think he has 23 bombs, right? So.
Apparently somebody pointed in his direction and Derek said Stevie City's under the radar because he was 2% owned. Point counterpoint, I suppose. I guess maybe. Oh, Correa was the second Spidey Bomb at plus 480. I don't know how many likes we are away from 150, but the next time we hit the 150, every 50 likes, Spidey unleashes another homer for the people. Bobby, who's the player you're most afraid of not getting enough of? Your boldest fade is who?
Oh, I don't know. Who do I have very little?
A pitcher, a team. You want to give me a team? You can give me a team. Doesn't have to be a particular player necessarily. A stack you're afraid of?
Stack that I'm not getting enough of currently. I would say I'm not getting a lot of Tampa Bay, and I liked Tampa Bay a good bit.
Yeah, I hear you. I want to see if we get.
I just like Aranda, and I don't think I'm Aranda, Caminero, Josh Lowe. I'm just not getting them.
Looks like we have Daniel Johnson in the San Francisco lineup, and he wasn't expected to be in there. So just I don't know if he's in the player pool. His name is like light on the lineups page, and that usually means that they're not in the pool. I don't think he's in the pool. Okay, just sort of you're looking for him. They'll end DK at least. Elio Ramos, Young Lee, Flores, Chapman, Dominic Smith, Willie Adames, Daniel Johnson, Bailey, and Fitzgerald take it on Pivetta. TJ, let me know when crunch time is here. I don't know if they're hanging out in the bullpen or not just yet, but I think we're good to go as far as crunch time. Crunch time's getting fully assembled. Got Dave Potts. Cheese is good from the $1 Million Musings. You guys know BeerMakersFan as well from the six pack and his oh God, I always forget the name of his thing. The terrible beer homage. I was like, why do I even bring it up if I forget it? I thought it would come to my head in the middle of that sentence, and it just didn't get there. Beast. It is the beast of the night. Yeah. All right. Poorly done job by me. Chief Meteorologist Kevin Roth as well jumping on. Let's do it. Let's bring on crunch time right now. All right. We butchered that one. I'm sorry, Beer.
That was unfair to BeerMakersFan. I just want to point
to not
out.
be able to think of it is one thing, but to think maybe it's terrible beer. Like, where did you come up with that? Maybe that's what you're not thinking of.
Well, it is a terrible. I think the beast is terrible. I think it's one of those things that you would, if you're.
Yeah, hence the joke, Dean, and you butchered it. Bobby, thank you for that. How are you doing today?
I felt bad that Dean would do that to you.
Yeah,
I remember what it was, Beast of the
It
Night.
wasn't intentional.
Sometimes you think people are your friends, and you
No,
really
exactly,
find out
exactly.
what's going on.
I'm. You know what? I'm just as disappointed in myself as you are. If that makes you feel any better.
We'll just bust out some channel cakes here and some other stuff on crunch time. We'll be fine.
What is
Dean? I'll get over it quickly. I promise you that. I'm already over it. It happens.
There's one correct answer. I don't know if you guys saw the board. What is the best trophy in sports? The best award in sports doesn't necessarily have to be a trophy. Individual, best trophy in sports. There's one correct answer. What is the answer, Roth?
It's the Stanley Cup.
Yeah. Okay. That's it. It's an opinion, but not really.
It's not an opinion. It's a fact. It's awesome. They carve your name on it. And it's super badass. It's the best.
Did you not say individual trophy though?
Well, it could be. I was saying it's also like you can get like the Wimbledon plate or like the heavyweight championship belt. I was besmirching the green jacket for the Masters. I think it's overrated. And the milk is the worst. Not that that's like a trophy or anything, but getting the milk in Indianapolis 500. Who wants milk?
Yeah, I was really good at racing. I would go out of my way to finish second, so I didn't have to drink milk.
That'd be a great edge to know for DFS. It's like he's not going to get first. He's going to slow down just enough. Ricky Bobby wants that milk first or last for sure. I don't know what's second, but yeah, the Stanley Cup. Dave, you got a take? I know you're a hockey guy. You like the hockey. Any thoughts? The series starting tonight? How my Panthers going to look?
They're going to win. If that counts as looking okay, yeah.
Yeah, they win ugly sometimes, but we'll take it. We'll take it over.
They play good hockey though.
Yeah.
They're really good.
It's pretty good. And OKC, Roth, you probably have a basketball take. We were talking about it before. Good for the Pacers. They beat New York. Good for them. But come on, the Thunder are just like you're not beating the Thunder. It's not happening.
No, I thought the Thunder were going to be the champs like 10 games into the regular season. They're just really, really, really good. And I don't know how the Knicks fired their coach. Like, did you think that you were going to win a championship? You were just going to be what the Pacers are about to be, which is absolutely stomped out. I'm confused by that whole thing. But
he does play guys too many minutes.
He does do that. And so maybe it was like a player thing. The players went to him and were like, the players got him fired. I don't know.
Mikal Bridges
will make this a series. Indiana's going to hang. I
think Indiana hangs a little bit too.
Yeah,
I'm with Beer.
I think it goes to
I don't think they win, but they play 12 deep.
They've been the underdog in every series so far. Every single one that they played in.
Thomas Bryant wouldn't be on the practice squad for the Pacers for the Thunder. The idea that he gets some minutes for Indiana, it's an indictment. That is the problem. Like he has no idea. He wouldn't smell the court in OKC.
I see Roth shaking his head. So are you calling a sweep? and if that's the case, we can put a little wager that
It's
Indiana's
4
not
or
going to get
5.
swept.
And I think we should put some money on it. It's 4 or 5 games, and you
No,
can
I
bet.
need a distinct answer. 4, 5.
No, I feel like I should get 4 or 5, and you should get 6 or 7.
Just say 5, Roth.
All right, 5. 4.
But who wins if it's 4?
Right.
Roth wins if it's
5
a
or
sweep,
fewer.
right?
5 or fewer.
Roth wins the sweep.
Movie bet? Yeah, I know you enjoyed the last
I'm
one.
getting
so much.
Indiana for 1 win. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah.
Oh, bet.
Wait, I don't know what I just bet. I
No.
think it's either going 4 or 5
Basically
games.
bet a sweep. I'll take Indiana to win 1 game.
He's saying 5 or less, so Indiana's going to win 2.
All
for
right,
me to win.
we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll slide into the DMs and we'll make this happen.
All right. You guys got 9 games, about 50 minutes or so. Roth has his eye there on the game in Tampa and St. Pete. But myself and Bobby do appreciate you watching the first portion. Do hit that like button, do subscribe, turn on notifications, and do not go anywhere because you get Dave Potts as well as BeerMakersFan. And everybody knows BeerMakersFan, not just in the six-pack, but if nobody would forget this, the beast of the night.
It's too
Roth,
late,
take it away.
Dean. Too late. Sign off.
No redemption.
Good effort. Get out of here, Dean. Later. And welcome to it, ladies and gentlemen. You know the drill. It's crunch time. It's 2 of the sharpest minds in the biz, 2 of the OGs in the industry. We got the aforementioned BeerMakersFan. It's clear Dean has never had a night where he got good and drunk off some Milwaukee's beast.
Right. Dean was never the guy in high school with no money. There's a party. The college guy, you're eating ramen, and you need a 30-pack of beer. Like,
Just about to say the 30.
he's missed out on a lot of life experiences here, so
Yeah.
I'll take it easy on him.
Yeah, I mean, I played beer pong with the 30-pack many a night.
Oh yeah,
It was
the good stuff in the beer pong.
it was
the
never
beast.
a good choice, but it was never a bad choice either.
Exactly.
It worked out. Dave Potts in the house as well. Cheese is good. What up, Cheese?
Not much. Excited to just learn 10 minutes ago who's in the NBA Finals. Now I know that. So I'm doing fine. I literally
It's
could not have answered that. Couldn't even guessed.
It's
10
similar to
minutes
NHL for me. I couldn't have told. I followed no NHL, 0. So I couldn't have told you who was in the Stanley Cup either.
I knew it was Florida, but I even now couldn't tell. I don't know who they're playing. Does someone know?
Edmonton, I believe.
It was
They don't
they had a poll on the YouTube
okay.
chat. Otherwise, it's okay.
I'll be hosting today's show after that blatant disrespect to the Edmonton Oilers from Roth today.
Welcome.
So we're cutting
New
them out.
host. Nice, nicely done.
I'm sorry.
I don't actually care enough to do that, but I
Are
gotta still root for my fandom because they're here.
Is Saskatoon in the same province as Edmonton?
No, but it's the closest hockey team
Okay.
to us. It's
All right.
about a 5-hour drive, 45-minute flight.
All right, we'll go Edmonton. I didn't realize we had rooting interests here. All right.
Yeah, me and Dean got a little movie bet going for it.
Oh, do you? Oh, be careful. You might have to watch Freddie Got Fingered, and you will not enjoy it. I assure you. Hey, we got to dive into the content that we've got going on here because it starts with weather, and it is kind of a big weather day. We got that game postponed in St. Louis. If you missed that, don't play it. It's postponed. And then there are 2 other games that I think have some legitimate concern. One of which being Atlanta. It is definitely a late start, and I think it's going to be kind of a long late start, like a 2-hour late start. But I do think they're going to play because everything clears out. So I expect a fairly lengthy late start and play in Atlanta, though I can't absolutely promise you they will play. I do think they will. And then there's the Tampa game. And if we learned anything from Tampa last night, it was that we don't know. We don't know. I think they're going to play. I don't know what that takes. I am okay playing bats. I think playing pitchers would be pretty risky in that Tampa game. And that's pretty much where I stand. Oh, also, yeah, the weather in the A's game yet again is in the mid 80s and winds are blowing out, and I like it for bats. And that's pretty much my whole spiel. Cheese,
Question. Just so assuming the Braves game eventually starts, you think pitchers will then be okay?
Yeah, I see no real way in which they get an in-game delay in Atlanta.
Because that's Chris Sale, so that's that's going to be relevant.
Yep, it's play or not play, and I think the answer is play. Maybe they'll have to play in some light rain so that they don't. AN says the rain ends at like 9:30. I don't know what forecast models you're looking at, but I'm not saying you're wrong. I just think they're going to play. That's where I'm at on that. That's it. Okay, Beer. Any issues with that? Any thoughts on that weather overall?
No, St. Louis, Kansas City looked bad early this morning. Figured that one would get scratched, and not surprised here with Atlanta. So obviously, a little bit risk. If you think it goes, pitcher's always more concerning. And like Cheese said, we have a pretty big name there to discuss, and I may have some hot takes on him anyway.
Ooh, okay. Well, you know what? Let's start right there. Let's start at pitcher. Beer, you can lead us off here. What are we doing at pitcher?
So we'll start with Chris Sale. I don't know where Cheese comes out on him. I did not get a chance to read the musings today, Cheese. I'm sorry.
If you have a hot take, then we agree.
Pulling a Dean on you here, but I am out on Chris Sale tonight, and it's not the weather could be great. I still don't want to go here. I mean, this is not a good matchup at all, and the ownership to me is absolutely crazy on Chris Sale. I mean, we're talking about the lowest strikeout team in all of baseball, just 16% against left-handed pitching. They rank in the top, I believe it's 3 or 4 in almost every single category against lefties. And we saw this matchup earlier this season, and he only had 4 strikeouts in that one. So that does not predict future performance, obviously. He could go out there. He is a stud. But you're talking about a very, very dangerous lineup here. It's top 12. ISO, WOBA, slugging, WRC plus against lefties. And again, the lowest strikeout rate. Now you add in the fact that you might have a delay, which we talk about all the time with pitchers, creatures of habit. I want nothing to do with Chris Sale. In fact, I'm glad to see that he is this highly owned. The optimizer loves him. I disagree. If he's going to be 40%, I think there's better options.
Interesting. Okay, well then, if you're not playing Sale, where are you going?
I'd much prefer Nick Pivetta. I mean, you look at the matchup here with San Francisco, you get the strikeouts here. It's a team that he has found success against. This is a team that's bottom 10 in WOBA, ISO, WRC plus against righties and pitching really well of late. 22 strikeouts over his last 3 starts. Again, 9 strikeouts in that start against San Francisco earlier in the season. So I think people look at the pricing like I'm not paying more for Nick Pivetta than I am for Chris Sale. It seems like a name brand type thing. I think Pivetta in the much better matchup here, going to be half the ownership of Chris Sale. Nick Pivetta is my SP1 tonight if you're spending. And overall, I think he's the best pitcher on the slate.
Okay, well, let's talk about some SP2s here.
Not many options. We're back with our boy Zebby, though, and he's probably my second favorite option here. I mean, pitched well in that last start, 7 strikeouts, season high 7 innings. 94 pitches were also a season high. So he's got that strikeout upside. Now, the A's not a big strikeout matchup, but of late, we're seeing a little bit more strikeouts here over the last 30 days, over 22% as a team. So I think Zebby still has some solid upside, still risky. You're never going to feel safe with him, but I like what I've seen so far here. The ballpark, obviously not ideal, but he is the guy that I want to pair up with Pivetta. If you're not going there, it's probably Gibson Long with Detroit. I don't know how long he's going to pitch in this game, but it's the White Sox. It's just such a great matchup, cheap price. So if you need the savings, that's where I'll go. But Roth, that's pretty much it for me. It's Pivetta, Gibson Long, Zebby, kind of mixing a match in those 3 tonight.
Okay. And then on FanDuel, you got one pitcher over there, Beer. You got a favorite, or you going with Pivetta?
Still Pivetta. Zebby would be the same order for me. I don't think you need to go to Gibson Long on FanDuel. I think it's Pivetta if you have the money, Zebby if you need to save a little bit.
Okay, very good. Cheese, what are your thoughts here? And you can start with Sale.
Yeah, same thought. I Beer could have or could not have read the musings, and you wouldn't have known from what he said. That's exactly how I feel. I was shocked and still am to see. And I don't know where I land on believing it, that there's no way Sale can be twice as owned as Pivetta. Like, I don't know. And it's weird how much the projections, both our projections and the bat, favor Sale, both in ownership and raw points. I don't think Sale is actually way higher owned than Pivetta. I don't play him because you think you're getting some huge ownership discount. Play him because Pavetta's facing the Giants and Sale's facing the Diamondbacks. That's why.
Yeah.
Maybe
also,
Sale
one of them is
higher owned. I mean, he'll probably be higher owned, and maybe the ownership projections are right. I don't know, but I just think I don't think Pivetta over Sale definitely shouldn't be, nor do I think it actually is some hot take. I think we're going to be surprised to see how close they are in ownership, if not edge to Pivetta.
Yeah,
that's what I thought too. It seemed too high.
It seems off, right? Like it just looks, and maybe it's what it is because, and I don't know what other sites have for projections like raw points. I have no idea.
But
Maybe
if
just
people are
everyone
just-
across the industry has Sale higher because he's Chris Sale. But yeah, I'm totally with Beer. Just play Pavetta.
But also, Cheese, if this is the year and like the age of the optimizer, and he is projected better
Right.
in the optos, then maybe that's what it is.
Yeah. So that's why I say, like, I have no idea what everyone else has projection wise. If every site everywhere has Sale projected higher, then he's higher owned because that's the way it works. But yeah, I'm with Beer. Play Pavetta.
Yeah.
Similar thought. Zebby is my next favorite. Clark Schmidt is the other guy that I'm mixing in there. Similar price to Zebby. So basically, I'm playing Pavetta, and then I'm playing one of Schmidt and Zebby. And on the cheap end, I'm playing Cade Povich instead of Gibson Long, because Gibson Long, I don't know, he threw 53 pitches in his last rehab start coming off injury. Like, I'm worried we see 4 innings. So I'll take Cade Povich for the cheap guy. And that's it. That's my whole pool.
So we had a question on Mick Abel, and I figured this would come up after we saw a really good start. I mean, I believe it was Pittsburgh in that start, and it's another spot. Toronto is just not a great strikeout matchup. So I think people are buying into that, and his price was kind of shocking to me to be up that high. I know he's a pretty highly touted prospect, but I'm staying away from that one at 9K. I think there's better options. Save on Zebby, in my opinion, and spend it on bats. So quick take there on Mick Abel.
Yeah. And so let me just say, there's like, I don't know, 6 or 7 pitchers between like 7,800 and 9,000. That's on DK. That's Shane Baz up to Mick Abel. You can play any of them. Like, you do whatever you want to do. But we both gave you our pool, and none of those other guys are in it. I have no Abel, no Kelly, no Harrison, no Barrios, no Canning, no Baz. If you want to play those guys, I get it, but only barely.
Yeah. And a reminder about Baz or anyone there in that game, you do have a risk of a delay in Tampa, because I don't know what the hell is going to happen in Tampa. Okay, very good. Well, let's talk about some of the bats and stacks. Cheese, you get to lead us off in that department.
All of them.
Oh, really?
There's so many bats. Because when you hear about how condensed that pitching pool is, it only makes sense. There's going to be a lot of offense. That's a lot of pitchers that are very attackable. And that's another reason why I prefer to be narrowed down on the pitcher side, is because I cannot really narrow it down on the hitting side.
Interesting.
For me, Yankees 1, Dodgers 2. But of course, they're expensive. The Twins are a strange one. Like, they're kind of maybe chalk again, and it's kind of maybe a great matchup. And now, like, we think probably maybe Jeffrey Springs is the long guy, maybe. But if he is, does that matter? Because is he good? Or is this a full bullpen game? Or does it matter because it's the A's in that ballpark and they're just a bad pitching staff? I get it with the Twins. I don't really love them. Like, they're not a top 3 or 4 stack for me. But they should score 8 runs because this A's pitching staff is just nonsensical. I definitely prefer spending up. And as far as other cheap teams, the reason the Twins are chalky is, other than Buxton, they're cheap too. But there's plenty of cheap stacks. I prefer Texas and Tampa ahead of them. I like Detroit better than them. I like the Mets as another spend up to be a little different. I've even got some White Sox. And then I have a fair amount of Phillies and Blue Jays. It's a lot of teams. I probably even miss someone. Braves, got some Braves. I like all those teams. I like all the teams.
Yeah. Okay. Beer, I assume you like a lot, if not all of the teams as well. You got a few that you like more than the rest?
Yeah, I narrowed it down to 5, but agan, you could go on here, and I mean, just for the sake of the show I don't want to, but you besmirching my favorite stack is the Twins. I think it's the savings, and yes, they're going to be owned, but if it Springs, whoever it may be, that this is probably the worst bullpen in baseball. I believe they have the worst ERA in all of baseball. The prices make it easy to get a Pavetta with another. You could get Zebby in there, still feel pretty good about your lineup, adding a 3-man stack from somewhere else. So I'm going to put the Twins number 1. Yankees number 2 for me here. I love this spot for them tonight. So that's my number 2. I like the Mariners as my number 3 against Povich. So some bats in that lineup that hit lefties very well. I'm going to go Tigers 4. We're probably going to get a mix of righties, lefties there, but a lot of guys in that lineup really hit both for power. So Tigers number 4. And the Rays, if that game goes, are going to be number 5 for me. So going to skip over the Dodgers, but they are obviously, it's might be tough to do Dodgers, Pavetta. You could use some of the cheaper options, but I'm going to leave them out of my top 5 tonight.
I just note, TJ will back me up on this. We could have called the Twins top stack, except Brooks Lee is not in there. So you got to downgrade him.
Had to rebuild my entire set of lineups.
Not kidding. He means it.
He had the look that he definitely meant that.
Yeah, it ruined his night for sure.
Yeah. He's done.
I'm with you, TJ. I got a lot of work to do after this.
Yeah, Detox says Carpenter is out for Detroit. Does that make you like the Detroit stack less?
No, he was projected out at the beginning of the day. Like
Yeah.
we figured out how we like Detroit, assuming Carpenter was not going to play, and then original lineup he was in, but with him out, like I'm speaking for Beer here, but like he wasn't projected in to start the day anyway, and they were still up there.
Yep.
Okay.
I agree. Hurts a little bit, obviously, the upside he brings to the table, but it's the White Sox. Again, it's going to be a mix and match of different pieces that aren't very good. So Detroit's in play either way.
Yeah. We did just get our third Spidey bomb, Max Muncy at plus 340. If you want another Spidey bomb, which is a home run pick, by the way, all you got to do is hit the like button. It's pretty simple. It's a free show. You should be hitting the like button anyways.
Spidey like them hot streaks.
Spidey's been hot. And is Muncy on a hot streak?
Yeah. Muncy has like 19 homers in the last 4 days.
Nice. So you got 3 of them going at the bottom. You get your 4th coming up at 175 likes. Fit Spidey bomb at 200 likes. We should get 200 likes easy. So make sure you're hitting that. I think we've got 200,000 people watching currently, so that it shouldn't be too hard to get those likes up. Let's see. Let's dive into it. Let's go around the horn, position by position. Beer, start me off with some catcher talk.
Cal Raleigh, always, forever, every day, any slate. So he's the number 1 for me if you can make it work. Absolutely crushing left-handed pitching this season. 5.5, not easy to get in even on FanDuel. He's all the way up to 4,100. But Povich can be vulnerable to power. I mean, 378 WOBA allowed, 56% hard contact, over a home run and a half per 9 innings. But Raleigh, 380 ISO against lefties this season. So an absolute massive number. My favorite is probably Ryan Jeffers, though. It can be tough to get to Raleigh. If you can make it work, I agree, make it work. Jeffers only 3.7K, under 3,000 on FanDuel. Numbers haven't quite been what we saw last year. In fact, they're way down. But this guy absolutely crushed lefties in 2024. So if it is Springs, I like him to start waking up here. And then one guy in between the two, probably Austin Wells for me. Ortiz, one of those guys, high upside, but high risk as well. I like that Yankee stack. So if you're stacking them, I would include Austin Wells in there. 64% hard contact given up by Ortiz, 4,400. So again, kind of resides in the middle range, but 63% hard contact, ISO over 220, Austin Wells. So Raleigh, high end, Austin Wells, mid range, Ryan Jeffers if you need to go cheap.
Good stuff. Cheese, before you give me your thoughts of catcher, I don't know if you saw this. Muncy recently got glasses in late May. And ever since he got glasses, he's actually been on his hot streak.
That's not the first time that's happened. And like you wonder, like, who pays a guy this kind of money and then doesn't check his eyes? Right. Like at some point, the Dodgers would have chipped in for like, just go see. And then I don't. Yeah, I can't remember the last guy this happened with. It happens like every year with somebody, and then you just wonder, like,
oh yeah, seeing the ball does help.
Before.
Yeah. All right, catcher, your thoughts there?
Basically the same. Obviously, Cal Raleigh. I mean, I'm playing a ton of Cade Povich. I'm also playing a ton of Cal Raleigh. I would play them in the same lineup gladly. He is at worst the 3rd best hitter in the league, probably better than that. Jeffers is the chalk, and it's pretty good chalk at that price. He's my favorite Twins bat with salary considered. I also really like Austin Wells. So same 3 up top for me. I've got Kirk, Rutschman, Real Muto kind of sprinkled in. But basically, yeah, same 3 guys are the highlights.
Okay. Was it Ozuna who got glasses and then started hitting? Was that maybe?
I truly don't know.
I don't know. Someone said Ozuna. They may have just been saying that name. It might not have been in relation to the glasses talk. First base, Cheese.
Play Shohei Ohtani on DraftKings. It's spend the money. I like Freddie Freeman a lot as well. I like Bryce Harper a lot as well. So spending up is a very good sounding idea. But the mid tier is pretty good too. I like Torkelson a lot. I like Ben Rice. I'm playing a lot of Zebby, but I have a little Soderstrom in the mix on DK. I think that's enough names to mention. Like you can go cheap on DK if you want to. You don't need to really on FanDuel. Like guys like Jake Berger or even Miguel Vargas, it's fine. Jared Young, like if you need the punt, okay. But like on FanDuel, where I mean, you can play Jeffers there for 2,900. Vlad's only 33. I don't think you need to go crazy with cheap stuff on FanDuel.
Yeah. Okay. Beer.
Agree on Ohtani and Freeman. Those would be the high-end guys. If you can make Ohtani work. If not, you can save a little money with Freddie Freeman. But I'll try to give you some other names. Cheese didn't hit on. I like Ben Rice. Again, I really like the Yankees here tonight. Jonathan Aranda against Rocker has had some good numbers. Torque, I think, is a guy that hits for power against righties or lefties like we talked about. So it doesn't matter what they're going to do with their pitching spot there for Chicago. And then Ryan O'Hearn, another name I like, kind of mid-range, pretty cheap over on FanDuel at just 3,100.
Okay, good stuff. You get to take us to second base, Beer. You get the honor of taking us to second base.
It's actually an honor tonight because there's actually a lot of options at this position. It normally is pretty dry here, so I'll run through a few of my favorites. Jazz Chisholm, another Yankees piece I like tonight, gets a good matchup. Kettle Marte against the aforementioned Chris Sale. I think no one's really going to want to go here. The old pivot off the chalk pitcher here, but the key here, he hits the slider very well, which we know is the main pitch for Chris Sale, putting up some big time numbers against lefties last season. Haven't quite seen it this season, but had a huge ISO in 2024. I think Brandon Lau's in play here. And then Daniel Schneedeman of Cleveland on the cheap at just 3.7K. So plenty of options, even Dylan Moore in play for Seattle. So lots of ways you can go at this position. Jazz Chisholm, Kettle Marte being my favorites.
Okay, good stuff. Cheese, your favorites at second.
Love Jazz Chisholm. He's my favorite by a lot, especially on FanDuel. He's cheap, but he's not that hard to get on DK. Fine with Marte. I think Bryson Stott for the salary is pretty good as well. Yeah, like kind of like Beer said, like usually you hate to talk about second base. It's really not bad. Like I don't mind Torres and Holiday and Brandon Lau. Like that's already 6 players that are pretty good. So that's it. The cheap stuff, I don't think you really need because it's actually not a terrible position that you have to punt at.
No, I think Stott probably your cash game option. I agree that. I mean, he's too cheap at 4,100. So that's probably where I would go, feeling the safest. But if you can get the Jazz, I would try to make that happen.
Yeah. Cheese, if a team has a good second baseman, are you naturally more likely to stack them because it tends to be a bad position? So you're like, hey, at least this team, I can play a guy here who's actually good in my stack, whereas other teams can't?
No, but I will for sure make that like the first guy in my stack, but I wouldn't change it on a team.
Okay, interesting. All right. Third base, Cheese.
It's also really good. Every position is good because there's so much offense to like. That's the thing. Jose Ramirez is one of my favorite plays on the slate for a low-owned guy. Even kind of liking Clark Schmidt a little bit. Like that's kind of like the Raleigh against Povich thing. Like Jose Ramirez is better at hitting than Schmidt is at pitching, whether you like Schmidt or not. Max Muncy, favorite cheap-ish play. Not cheap, but he's not expensive. Royce Lewis, also very good in that price range. Riley and Machado, pretty fantastic. Kind of upper mid-tier. And none of these guys can really be that chalky because I think Lewis and Muncy really take up the ownership. So I like spending up. And I also like Addison Barger to be a little different with the cheap stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Beer. Second base, third base, sorry.
Barger's probably my favorite at that price. I mean, 3.1. We talked about Abel, and I need to see more out of him. So, Barger at 3,100 hitting third. I think it's a good way to save money, but I agree. There's some good spend ups. I agree on Ramirez. I really like Manny Machado against Harrison. Big time numbers against lefties this season. Woba's over 440, ISO over 310, and he's under 5,000 on DraftKings, which seemed a little bit too cheap for Machado. So Ramirez, Machado high end, Barger being my favorite, and then Royce Lewis as well. Just 3,000 on DraftKings is way too cheap. We haven't quite seen the Royce Lewis we know. I think it's coming, and this could be the matchup, the ballpark. Great spot at 3K.
Okay. You get to bring us to third base.
Shortstop.
I'm sorry. I'm looking at radar and trying to make sure these games play. So I'm a little bit checked out.
You're juggling, Roth. You got Milwaukee's Beast on the mind. You got a lot going on. So no worries. Shortstop. I'm going to continue the Twins theme. Carlos Correa, guy, just continue to play 3,700. He probably should be 4,700. He's under 3K over on FanDuel. I mean, 412 ISO against lefties this season. So really like the power spot for him tonight. If I'm spending, it's probably Lindor or Gunnar Henderson. Prefer the discount with Gunnar Henderson. But that's really about it at shortstop. Some second, third, I think there's a lot more options. Shortstop, to me, Gunnar if you want to spend, Lindor if you really want to spend. But Correa is way too cheap in this matchup.
Very good. Cheese.
It's weird that shortstop isn't way better than second and third and first.
Yes, it's very rare.
It's about the same. Like there's a bunch of stuff to like, but none of it is like, oh, you just have to plan your day around getting this guy. I am super under on Carlos Correa. Like he's definitely too cheap. Like you would play him in cash. But like that's just not the guy I'm willing to plant my flag on when he's chalky. And it's pretty crucial that he faces a lefty. Like he's actually barely better than me against righties. I think they're going to see a lot of lefties. I think it's probably Springs. And if it's not, maybe they'll get Newcomb. And so it's fine. But I'm under personally on Correa. I would say Lindor is my favorite spend up. Yeah, slightly followed by Gunnar Henderson, and then Corey Seager, and then Mookie Betts. You'll notice I'm mentioning a lot of expensive names. That's because I'm playing Cade Povich and Zebby Matthews, so I can play all these guys, and it's fine. Now, some things are going to change when I go to my lineups and have to get rid of all that Brooks Lee because he was my cheap guy. So I don't know what I'll end up with. I'll tell you later.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go to the outfield.
Yeah. It's for me, it's kind of like when I was talking about the stacks, just all of them. I think Buxton is your chalky expensive guy, and I certainly like him. I prefer Schwarber, Soto, Acuna as far as spend ups, but and Ohtani, but they're all just fantastic. I'm a little under on Judge, even though I'm a little over on the Yankees, just because there's so many Yankees I like, and I can just play the lefties and have the money left. But of course, play Judge too. But I love Grisham and Bellinger, sort of in that mid tier, along with Wyatt Langford's one of my favorite plays. Ozuna and Riley Green in that price tier, like that's a bunch of pretty good stuff in the like mid 4Ks on DK and the low to mid 3Ks on FanDuel, such that I don't have to get the expensive outfielders. So I don't have a ton of those like 6K guys. I'm trying not to do too much with like super cheap stuff. Who's on my little list here? Phillies like Kepler and Marsh. Wensiel Perez, now that he's in there, is fine. Conforto is fine. On FanDuel, I like Evan Carter. Kjerstad.
Nailed it.
Heston is in there on my list for 2,700. But really, the reason I'm not playing the super expensive guys because I don't really want to play the super cheap guys. I'd rather get 3 in that mid tier.
Yeah. We did get a late start officially in Atlanta as expected. Doesn't change anything because that was, I expect the late start and eventual play, long late start probably. Beer, your thought. By the way, Jamino says, did adjust some ownership, getting more Pavetta than before. But for what it's worth, he's seeing sale pretty high out there for, I guess that means for other sites and such. So,
and it makes sense. I'm going to trust Jamino and the projections team. Us saying it seems too high is not us calling them out and saying they're wrong. I really think it's a case of people see Chris Sale, they see Nick Pavetta. Sale is your household name. Now I know there's a lot of seasoned players that aren't playing that, but a lot of newer players. Give me less for Chris Sale than I'm going to pay for Nick Pavetta. I think it can be as simple as that. Or sometimes you get down to that extra 100 or 200. We've all been there, and it's an easy pivot. So not to say it's wrong. It just seems surprising to see him that high.
I want to jump in and say the same thing. Sometimes I can say this ownership projection is wrong. Sometimes I do say that. I'm not saying the Sale one is wrong. I'm saying I don't know, and I think it looks weird. I'm with BI. I'm not saying it's wrong.
Yeah,
I truly don't know.
I think we're all in the same boat here. I think we're all, we're all rowing in the same direction. I think,
and I think the delay now is going to swing people to Pavetta. I think that's going to have people concerning. So you may see them both around 30%. I think makes more sense than 40-20.
Yeah, and I think that is pretty likely now with the late start official. Okay, Beer, your thoughts in the outfield, please.
A lot of the same names. Again, not going to spend a lot of time on Ohtani, Judge, Soto. I like all those guys on the high end. Buxton, I love the Twins. If it is a lefty, he's been smashing lefties. Agree on the Yankees. Really like Grisham in the spot against Ortiz. Bellinger as well. And then the only guy Cheese really didn't name that I like Julio Rodriguez here. Probably because he's on the Cade Povich train, so a little less Seattle bats, but I like that stack here, Raleigh, Rodriguez, but Julio Rodriguez, one of my favorites. Not a lot of cheap stuff. Harrison Bader is fine if you want to make your twin stack a little bit different. Agree on Schwarber. He let me down yesterday in a great spot against Bowden Francis, but he's in play. Perez, Detroit, too cheap. So there are cheapies that you can go to, but I think Grisham, Buxton, Julio Rodriguez, probably my three favorites outside of the big dogs.
Yeah, okay. Very good. We've done some hitters. We've done some pitchers. We need to give some home run calls. And of course, we want to give people the best deal in the industry. And here it is, the MLB DFS annual option for $425. That's a pretty good deal, but you can get a better one. Our Combo Pro product matches that price. So you get all the sports for the price of baseball. How could you not want to do that? And if you do the 6-month option, you're saving 35%. So MLB projections, NBA content, PGA data, NFL coming soon. Now's a good time to make sure you're signing up for that. Let's do some home run calls before we get to the QQs. Cheese, I know it's your favorite part of the show. What do you got?
You're not wrong, sir. You're not wrong at all. What do I have? That really is the question. I think I have Wyatt Langford. And I think I have, I'm trying to be a little different. I don't want to do the obvious ones here. Addison Barger.
Love it.
And any Yankee and Spencer Torkelson.
Okay. Beer, you got a few names?
Yeah, I'm going to give you a low end, cheap, my favorite just home run spot. You're not getting a great number on it, but it's Cal Raleigh. Unfortunately, it's plus 240. But I'll give you a couple longer range, plus 525 on Royce Lewis, and Manny Machado at plus 600 on FanDuel, where he's plus 420, 425, 450 everywhere else. FanDuel, really good price there. And I mentioned he hits lefties well. Harrison, give up a ton of home runs, but 6-1 on Manny Machado, my favorite longer shot of the night.
Okay. Good stuff. Let's see what we've got going on. We got Spidey Bob number 4 just dropped. 1 is Acuna, 2 is Correa, 3 is Muncy, and 4 is Jacob Wilson at plus 900. I think TJ hit a plus 650 or 700 last night. TJ, you can pop in and tell me if I'm wrong. But we were talking about a guy who didn't have a ton of pop, but had a great weather situation. And that's the type of dude he wanted to target. And he hit it, right, TJ?
Willie Castro plus 600 hit 2 homers last night.
You should have bet that one. I mean, come on. Obviously.
Yeah, the Kyle Schwarber 2-homer bet didn't go well.
Hey, I had one of those too. Did not go well.
Yeah.
I was so tilting if you, like everyone, played all the Kyle Schwarber and then just looked at the score after 5 innings. We're like, hey, Schwarber's got 3 over, and everyone else had, except Schwarber was.
Jeez, I did that. I was out of my daughter's practice, wasn't paying attention. Like, oh shit, it's 7-1. Like Schwarber's got to be killing it for me.
Yeah.
And nope, everyone else 2 hits,
Nothing.
home runs, RBIs, nothing for Schwarber.
It was the worst for me. So the first time I glanced at it, I believe Alec Boehm was hitting after Schwarber. And I glanced at my app and it said Phillies 3-0 Boehm at bat. I was like, Schwarber just hit a 3-run homer now. And what do you know?
Yeah.
Baseball is a funny thing.
Yeah, he did.
I had also bet on Ronald Acuna to hit one last night, and that exact same thing happened to me when Drake Baldwin hit his home run. I see Atlanta's score change. I see Drake Baldwin up at bat and think, yes, Acuna just hit one. Nope.
Nope. Negative. All right, let's get into some QQs. I think we've got about 11, 12 minutes here until lock, which should be plenty of time. Let's see. Cheese is good. You got tagged in this one, Cheese. Given the musings on Sale versus Pavetta, why is Sale's K-prop higher than Pavetta's?
I don't have any idea how or who sets K-prop. I mean, if I was setting them, they would be exactly the same. Like,
yeah.
I don't think that question needs an answer. It's just they make K-props to get even money on both sides. People like Sale better. They want his a little higher, so they get even money on both sides.
Sure.
I will answer that. People love overs. They know Chris Sale's a big strikeout guy. So it's less about, should we price this accurately? Let's get it up as high as we can, that people are still going to bet the over on Chris Sale. That's why.
Yeah, that's not like smart people saying, let's think about how many strikeouts we think this guy's going to get. They're just taking bets.
Right. How much money can they make is the question there.
Yeah.
And look at that. We've got scores and odds popping up here. Kyle Murray saying, give me the under 6.5 at plus 110. The reigning NL Cy Young winner, Chris Sale. He's got the upside, but come on. This is a rough matchup in general, especially for strikeouts. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but there you go.
I was going to write that up today. Kyle beat me to it. So great analysis there. Kyle, sharp guy. So I agree, especially if you're getting plus odds. It looks like it's changed, but even at minus 105, number's too high.
Yeah. All right. Let's see, Beer. I got a couple questions for you here. Alex says Pavetta and Povich. Is that okay in a DK cash spot?
I know Cheese likes Povich a little bit more than me. The strikeouts can certainly be there. He's cheap, so I'm okay with it for sure.
Okay. Right back to you in the outfield. He needs a cash outfielder. Tom's looking for someone. Beer at 4,200. DK cash outfielder 4,200.
42. I'll have to dig around here. Grisham's a little bit too expensive. Cheese, you got anybody off the top of your head? 42.
Did you say for cash?
Yeah, it was DK cash 4,200 in the outfield.
I mean, in tournaments, I know I would put Ozuna. He's right there.
Yeah.
Probably Ozuna anyway. Like that's right at the point where it drops off from like 42 to 5. Like I love a bunch of stuff, but under 42, I really don't. I think I would say Ozuna.
I think Larnach is interesting at 4K, but yeah, I like the Ozuna call.
Okay, very good. Cheese, your thoughts on Abel, Kane and Abel?
Yeah, Beer touched on him earlier. Like, I understand he had this amazing first start. He looked like the greatest pitcher of all time. 9 strikeouts, no walks. And he's a good prospect. He's not a like best in the league prospect. And the bottom line is in the minors, he was like a 27, 28% strikeout pitcher with 12, 13% walks. He's almost certainly not that good right now. Like there's no reason to think that last start was real. If you want to chase it, I get it. I think we both think he's overpriced.
And Toronto, not a good strikeout matchup. There's just not a lot of strikeouts in that lineup.
Good notes, guys. Cheese Blink says Ohtani and Jackson Holiday or Harper and Brandon Lowe. I'm not sure.
Got it. You got it.
Large field DKGPP. By the way, he says, I love the OG crunch time. Great guys and even greater content. It's true. He's right.
Appreciate that. And Roth, don't feel bad about the Low. Every time I put one of them guys in a 6-pack, I shit you not, I got to go to YouTube. Which one is Low? Which one is Low?
I know Nate is Low. Nate Lowe, I know, but then there's others. There's like 4 of them now. It's impossible. Cheese, do you remember the question now that we got sidetracked?
I do, yeah. And honestly, that's so coin tossy. Like, I'll give you an answer, but that's one of those nobody knows the answer to that. Like those are both very good choices. I would go Ohtani Holiday.
Okay. DKGPP Cheese, I'm coming right back to you here. Jefferson Muncy or Wells and one of Lewis or Barger?
Exact same thing. Like this is this slate. There's so much good stuff and it's all so close. We are absolutely tossing a coin. I will tell you that I would play Jefferson Muncy, but that is a coin toss.
Yeah. Okay. Let's jump into the old YouTube here. Make sure we get the thumbs up. I don't think I mentioned this. Alan said, "Are bats safe in Tampa?" And while I won't use the word safe, I am totally on board with playing bats in Tampa. I do think it works out. Just kind of double check on radar as I say it, just to make sure nothing's changed. Yeah, I personally would play bats in Tampa, and I think it works out for you. So that's where I'm at on that. Devin says, Beer, Larnack and Schneeman or Castro Torres?
I'm going to go Castro Torres. I do like Larnack, though.
Okay. Let's see. Here we go. Derek says, Beer, Muncy and Buxton or Royce Lewis and Gunnar?
Muncy, Buxton. If it's tournament, you'll get lower ownership on the second set, but just straight away, Buxton and Muncy.
Yeah. Okay. Cheese coming to you from Jorge. DK Cash, it's a 3v3 for you, Cheese. Jazz, Barger, Tatis, or Stott, Muncy, Soto?
As with all these questions, I love both sides. There's so much to like. In cash, out of that, I would go Stott, Muncy, Soto.
Okay. Okay. FanDuel GPP for you, Cheese, from Bryce. Schneeman or Kepler? Schneeman or Kepler?
Kepler.
Beer, coming to you, DK Largefield GPP. Who is your off-the-wall stack that's low owned? And are we worried about ownership if there's so many good?
I mean, if you want to get off the Twins, things like that. So I will say Seattle and Detroit. I don't know if those are low owned or not. I don't think you're going to get a ton of traction. A lot of the times when these teams have these openers, it's going to be a righty, a lefty, who's the long reliever. You don't see as high of a stack percentage on those teams because you can't get the good against righties, good against lefties. It's tough to match up the stats. So I'll say the Tigers, I think, could be a lone stack that does well tonight.
Okay, good stuff. Cheese, do you want to throw a name in there? A low-owned stack that you like? Is it one of those expensive teams?
Yeah, essentially they're all low-owned. Honestly, I think it's the Dodgers.
Yeah,
that's what I was thinking. Going to be low-owned.
I felt like you were going there.
Ohtani and Muncy will get ownership. I think the rest are sneaky.
Yeah. Jim says Urias for Athletics. God, I hate that. For Oakland. Cheese, I'll give that to you.
Yeah, I have zero.
Yeah, I'd say I don't have any either.
Yeah.
There's too many options at second that are better, in my opinion.
Okay. We're 5 minutes until lock. Bryce says Cheese, Belly or Grisham, FanDuel GPP.
Yeah, love them both. This whole problem, like the Yankees lefties, they're all so close. It's hard, but I lean to Grisham over Belly. He's showing the more power right now, so give me Grisham.
Okay. Can I take the wheel here for a second, Roth? I see J3 in the chat, and he always wants a Dean shout out. Now, you must have missed the opening of the show. I was actually going to give Dean a shout out in a video, but then he butchered the whole premise of my shows and my videos. So I cannot give Dean a shout out now in the six pack. So I thought I'd cover that real quick.
And how long have you been doing the six pack, to be clear?
Over a decade, maybe longer.
I think he's been doing it. He's been doing it since before I started writing the musings. And that's at least a decade.
Yeah.
It's
imagine not knowing what the keynote of that entire thing is as a RotoGrinders employee. Right? Dean's been here for 10 years too.
Right. Me and Dean go way back. Let's put it this way. My beard was not gray, and I was about 60 pounds lighter when I started the six pack. So
come on, Dean. Let's see. 4 sweet pitchers on DK. Beer. Marshall says, give me 4 sweet pitchers on DK. I think it was a question.
I can give you 3. That's the player pool for me tonight is Pavetta, Zebby Matthews, and who was my third? I lost him. The guy from Detroit. I lost his name, Cheese.
Yeah, you like Sawyer Gibson long.
Sawyer Gibson. So and I'm staying away from Chris Sale. So that'll be my 4th throw in there.
Okay. DraftKings, your favorite catcher not named Raleigh. Cheese, the answer is the guy from Minnesota. He's good.
Yeah,
Jeffers.
Ryan Jeffers.
Yeah, Jeffers is the guy. DKGPP, Cheese, Goldie or Rice?
Rice.
Mr. Irrelevant says, hey, Roth, any update on the Rays game in Tampa? It was yellow-orange. It will remain yellow-orange, but the orange is just kind of a throw-in. It's Tampa, and I don't really know what the hell anything can happen. It's mostly yellow, which is just a chance for delay in my mind. But I don't know. It gets interesting there in Tampa.
Hey, TJ, can you throw up the stacks from Plate IQ just so we're getting a lot of questions. And again, I think the Twins are the only stack that's going to be popular, but just so we can see the low, if you can. If not, no big deal.
Yeah. Real quick, we got a couple questions in the Discord I want to get to. Cheese, your favorite cheap FanDuel GPP pitcher?
Zebby counts as cheap to me on FanDuel.
Okay.
I do think one guy that's not even remotely in my DK pool that I think is playable on FanDuel would be Kyle Harrison. He's 7,200.
Okay. And then the person who was in the outfield, I think they had 4,200. They're now at 4,400 in DK cash. Does that help?
It doesn't change a lot for me. If you could get to 45, I would get to Grisham. That would be my, if you can trim another 100. The stacks question. So it looks like Detroit actually is going to, I think the Yankees, interesting, down at potentially 6% owned. Cheese mentioned the Dodgers. If you can get the Dodgers under 10%, I think that's stealing. But I don't think you're over worried about stack percentages here tonight, maybe outside of Minnesota.
Okay. Very good. Let's see what else we got. Grisham or Rice beer, FanDuel GPP?
Grisham.
Very good. How are we feeling about stacking the A's? Rob says. Cheese. Rob says they seem sneaky and potentially low owned.
Well, they are. Don't worry about them being low owned because everyone is low owned. Like, don't play them because of ownership. I think they're a good place to go power hunting. I don't really like the stack. I mean, you're allowed to. Zebby is going to throw a lot of strikes though, and will be out. Last time he pitched, I said he's Bailey Ober, and sometimes Bailey Ober gives up 3 home runs, and that's who this guy is. So yeah. I like a little Soderstrom and Rooker, maybe Butler. I don't personally love the stack, but yeah, they're stackable. But don't do it because of ownership, because everything is low owned, other than the Twins.
Okay. She's
adorable, by the way.
I know she is. We've hit the lock. They said you're cute. What do you say? Thank you, she whispered. All right. We're going to clear on out of here. That was Showboat says, does Roth's wife have red hair, or did the milkman? It's not red. It's a lighting thing.
I get that all the time because me and my wife are both brown hair, and we have a blonde daughter. So plenty of mailman.
Yeah.
Just joking that joke. And
yeah. All right. We're going to clear on out of here. Ellie, you want to wave bye-bye? Bye. She's going to whisper it. Okay. For Cheese and for Beer, for our wonderful production crew, always working hard behind the scenes, I'm going to update these 2 games in Atlanta and in Tampa on my Twitter. I guess Atlanta starts in like 10 minutes, I think. But just make sure you're tuning in case anything crazy happens. I don't expect it will. Guys, we appreciate you. We love you. And we will catch you tomorrow. You have been crunched.